Have you ever wondered what really sets the top 1% apart from everyone else? It's not just luck or talent, it's how they think and act every single day, even when no one is watching. This way of thinking shapes their habits, their choices, and ultimately their success. But here's the truth: you don't have to be born into it, or wait for a perfect moment to start thinking like them. The secrets are simple, practical, and something anyone can apply. In this video, I'm going to take you through the exact mindset and daily actions that the most successful people use to grow their lives steadily, handle challenges with strength, and keep pushing forward even when results seem invisible. You'll discover how to control your time with discipline, how to stay focused by cutting out distractions, and how to make powerful decisions without fear. I'll also show you why it matters to work on yourself quietly and consistently, how to choose growth over comfort every single time, and why protecting your peace is one of the smartest moves you can make. This isn't about quick fixes or empty motivation. It's about real, step-by-step guidance that you can start using today to change how you think and how you live. Whether you want to improve your career, your relationships, or just become a stronger person, these lessons will help you build habits that last and create results that matter. So if you're ready to stop guessing and start growing, keep watching, because learning how the top 1% think could be the most important step you take toward changing your life. Chapter 1. Train your mind to reject all useless thoughts. Train your mind to reject all useless thoughts. This is where the journey to clarity, power, and personal transformation begins. Most people are not held back by their circumstances, their intelligence, or even their discipline. They are held back by the clutter in their minds, the constant stream of thoughts that do nothing but drain their energy, blur their focus, and drown their potential. To rise into the top 1%, you must first take control of your inner world, and that begins with learning how to let go of what does not serve you. Not later, now. Every day, your mind is processing thousands of thoughts. Some are helpful, others are harmless, but too many are toxic, unproductive, and simply useless. These thoughts waste your time, your attention, and your peace. Thoughts like, what if I fail? What do they think of me? I'm not ready yet. Why is life unfair? These thoughts do not build anything. They only destroy your drive. The top 1% live differently because they think differently. They don't just allow any thought to take up space in their mind. They are selective. They are deliberate. They understand that the quality of their thinking determines the quality of their life. Useless thoughts come in many forms: worry, regret, jealousy, rumination, complaining, self-doubt, daydreams about outcomes with no action behind them, conversations in your head that will never happen, obsessing over the past, fantasizing about shortcuts. These thoughts feel familiar because they are comfortable. They give the illusion that you are doing something, when in reality, you are doing nothing at all. You are stuck, staring into your own mind, going in circles. So how do you stop it? How do you reject the useless and train your mind to stay sharp, present, and effective? You start by noticing. You cannot reject what you don't recognize. Pay attention to your mental patterns. How do you react when things don't go your way? What thoughts dominate your mind in the quiet moments? What stories do you keep repeating to yourself about who you are, what you deserve, or what's possible? Most people live on autopilot, never questioning the voice in their head. But that voice isn't always right. In fact, most of the time, it's just noise from old fears, bad habits, or other people's opinions. The strongest people are not the ones who never have negative thoughts. They're the ones who know how to deal with them. When a useless thought enters their mind, they don't invite it in, give it a seat, and offer it a drink. They see it, they acknowledge it, and they move on. They replace it with something better, something useful, something aligned with who they want to become. To train your mind, you must take responsibility for what you allow to live there. Begin your day with intention. Don't just wake up and absorb whatever the world throws at you. Direct your attention before your phone, before the news, before other people's expectations. Give yourself 5 minutes of silence. Sit, breathe. Ask yourself what matters today. What deserves your energy? What doesn't? This is mental training. This is where you build strength, not in loud moments, but in quiet choices. It's not about trying to have a perfect mind. It's about creating space between you and your thoughts. A person who cannot observe their thoughts is controlled by them. A person who can observe their thoughts is free to change them. That's your goal, not to erase every negative thought, but to see them for what they are and refuse to let them control you. Here's a practical approach. When a thought enters your mind, ask yourself, does this help me or harm me? Be brutally honest. If it's a thought that brings worry about something you can't control, it's useless. If it's a thought that repeats a past mistake you can't undo, it's useless. If it makes you freeze, doubt or shrink, it's useless. Once you identify it, reject it. Literally say to yourself, this thought is not helping me. I'm not giving it my time. Then replace it, not with blind positivity, but with something strong and grounded. I don't know the future, but I can handle it. The past happened, but today I choose to do better. I don't control others, but I control my actions. Over time, this mental filtering becomes automatic. Your brain starts to learn which thoughts are worth keeping and which ones are not. It becomes faster, sharper, calmer. You begin to trust yourself. You begin to feel lighter, because you're no longer dragging the weight of every useless story around with you. You're not reacting to every emotion. You're responding with clarity. This is how the top 1% operate. Not by luck, not by accident, but by choosing their inner dialogue with intention. They do not waste time arguing with reality. They do not obsess over what others are doing. They do not spend energy imagining problems that haven't even happened yet. They stay rooted in the present. They focus on what they can do, and because of that, they do more. They grow more, and they move faster. A weak mind looks for comfort in distractions. A strong mind looks for strength in discipline. Every time you choose a better thought, you become mentally stronger. Every time you say no to mental noise, you say yes to progress. That is the path, one thought at a time. You can apply this practice in everyday moments. When you're stuck in traffic, instead of complaining or stressing, use that time to breathe, to reflect or to plan. When someone criticizes you unfairly, pause and ask yourself, is this true? Is this useful? If not, discard it. When you make a mistake, don't drown in guilt. Own it, learn, and move forward. When you start comparing yourself to others, stop and remember, everyone's path is different. That thought has no power unless you feed it. You'll start to notice a shift. Life becomes less overwhelming. You stop overthinking every small decision. You stop holding on to old pain. You begin to trust that you can face whatever comes next. Not because life is easy, but because your mind is strong. That's the reward for this work. Not perfection, but power. Quiet, steady, grounded power that comes from mastering your inner world. It's not something that happens overnight. It's something you build, like muscles, like skills. At first, it feels hard. It feels unnatural to stop thoughts that have been with you for years. But every time you do it, you prove to yourself that you are not a prisoner of your mind. You are the builder. You choose what stays and what goes. And with time, that becomes who you are. This level of mental control is rare. That's why so few people reach their full potential. But you're not here to be average. You're here to rise, to take full ownership of your life, and that starts by mastering your thoughts. Not one day, not when it's convenient, but now. So here's what to do next. Make it a daily practice. Spend 5 minutes each morning checking in with your mind. Notice the first thoughts that show up. Are they useful? Are they helping you grow? If not, replace them. Throughout the day, catch yourself when you drift into useless thinking. Gently bring yourself back. At night, review your thoughts again. What patterns do you notice? What needs to change? Be honest with yourself. Be patient. Be consistent. This is the real work. The work no one sees, but the work that changes everything. Because when your mind is clear, your life becomes clear. When your thoughts are strong, your actions are strong. When you reject what is useless, you create space for what is powerful. And when that happens, there is no limit to what you can build, create, or become. Train your mind like your life depends on it. Because it does. Chapter 2. Build your life around purpose and clear values. When you look at the people who operate at the highest level, the ones who stay steady while others drift, you'll find something powerful at the core of their lives. Purpose and values. This isn't just a motivational phrase, it's a way of living. Without purpose, your effort feels empty. Without values, your decisions become scattered and reactive. The top 1% think and live differently because they've made a clear internal commitment to build everything, every goal, every action, every relationship around what truly matters to them. They don't chase everything, they move with direction. And that direction comes from within. Most people drift through life reacting to whatever shows up. They work because they have to. They say yes to things they don't believe in. They chase goals that impress others, but leave them feeling hollow. They follow routines that numb their minds, but don't move them forward. Then one day, they look around and realize they've built a life that doesn't feel like their own. It happens slowly, but it happens all the time. And it happens because they never stopped to define what their life is really about. You don't have to let that be your story. You can choose to build a life that means something. A life that feels honest, not just successful. A life that gives you peace when you wake up and pride when you go to sleep kind. That kind of life starts with a simple but bold decision. To stop chasing everything and start building something grounded. Something aligned with your purpose and values. Your purpose isn't something you wait to find. It's something you choose to create. It doesn't come as a lightning strike. It comes as a quiet clarity from asking the right questions. What do you want your life to stand for? What kind of person do you want to become? What kind of problems are you willing to solve every day? Purpose isn't about grand ambition or massive fame. It's about waking up with a reason to show up fully. It's about making your effort matter. When you know why you're doing what you're doing, you work harder, you stay longer, and you handle challenges with more strength. But purpose alone is not enough. You also need values, clear internal standards that guide your choices. Values are not ideas you post online or words you memorize. They're the invisible rules you follow when no one is watching. They show up in the way you treat people, the way you handle pressure, and the way you talk to yourself when things go wrong. Values create structure. They protect you from compromising who you are. They remind you that not every opportunity is worth your time and not every invitation deserves a yes. If purpose is the reason you move, values are the rails that keep you from falling off track. Think about it. How many times have you made choices that felt good in the moment but didn't feel right in the long run? How many times have you said yes to something because you didn't want to disappoint someone, even though it wasn't aligned with who you are? Those are the moments where values would have protected you. When you're clear on your values, you don't just act on emotion, you act on principle. That kind of clarity is rare, but it changes everything. Start with identifying what matters most to you, not what others told you should matter, not what's popular, not what's comfortable. What matters deeply to you? Is it honesty, growth, discipline, loyalty, freedom, service? Don't choose too many, choose a few and make them the foundation of how you live. Let them influence how you spend your time, who you build relationships with, what work you commit to, and what kind of leader you become. The goal is not perfection. The goal is alignment. When your actions match your values, you feel strong. When they don't, you feel conflicted, even if everything looks good on the outside. This kind of inner structure gives you power in ways others can't see. It gives you the courage to say no when the world pressures you to say yes. It gives you peace when the path is hard, because you know why you're on it. It gives you focus, because you're not pulled in 10 directions anymore. You stop living by reaction and start living by design. And design doesn't mean control. It means intention. It means you stop letting life happen to you and start taking responsibility for how you show up in every area: your work, your health, your habits, your relationships. Every part of your life becomes part of your mission. That's how the top 1% move. They don't wait for motivation. They don't act based on mood. They operate based on who they've decided to be. And because of that, their effort compounds. Their growth is steady. Their success isn't scattered. It's rooted. Let this be your wake-up call to stop building your life around things that don't matter. Stop giving your best energy to distractions. Stop compromising your values just to be liked. Stop drifting through days with no clarity. The world is full of noise. If you don't choose your purpose, someone else will choose it for you. If you don't define your values, you'll end up violating them just to fit in. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to begin with honesty. Ask yourself, if I keep living the way I'm living now, where will I be in 5 years? Is that where I want to be? If the answer is no, then something has to change, and that change begins with clarity, not outside, inside. You have to look at yourself with no filter and ask, what do I stand for? What do I believe in? What kind of life do I want to create? Not in theory, but in practice. From there, everything becomes clearer. Decisions become simpler, not easier, but simpler. You stop overthinking every move, because your values give you direction. You stop chasing every trend, because your purpose keeps you grounded. You stop comparing your journey to others, because you're finally walking a path that belongs to you. If you want to live like the top 1%, think like them. And if you want to think like them, build your life around something solid, something that doesn't change with the crowd, something that gives you strength when you're tired and direction when you're lost. That something is your purpose. That something is your values. Everything else is extra. The world doesn't need more people who are trying to look successful. It needs more people who are actually living in alignment. You don't have to be famous. You don't have to be rich, but you do have to be real with yourself first. And that kind of honesty takes courage, the kind of courage the top 1% show every day. So decide today, what kind of life are you building? What are you building it on? What are you no longer willing to tolerate? And most importantly, who are you becoming every single day? Because once you answer those questions, your life stops being random. It starts becoming meaningful, and that's where real transformation begins. Chapter 3. Control your time with ruthless daily discipline. The people who rise to the top are not the ones who have more time. They're the ones who take complete control of it. They don't wait for motivation. They don't allow the day to unfold by accident. They don't let comfort dictate their pace. They lead every hour with a sense of urgency, because they understand something that most people never fully grasp. Time is not something you manage, it's something you own. And if you don't own it, someone else will. The top 1% think about time differently. To them, every minute is a decision. Every hour is a tool. Every day is a chance to build or destroy momentum. This is not about obsession. It's about intention. Ruthless daily discipline isn't about becoming a robot. It's about finally becoming who you're capable of being. You can't live on purpose if your time is constantly being hijacked. You can't build a strong identity if your days are filled with scattered effort and random tasks. Every time you delay your focus, you delay your growth. Every time you choose distraction over discipline, you fall behind. Not in comparison to others, but in comparison to the life you could have had. The truth is, nobody is going to come manage your day for you. Nobody is going to protect your time. That job belongs to you, and if you don't do it, you pay the price with regret. There are two types of people in the world: those who plan their day and those who react to it. The first group decides what matters most and commits to it. The second group lets the world choose for them: emails, messages, opinions, temptations, and at the end of the day they wonder where all their time went. But it didn't go anywhere. It was given away, piece by piece, to things that didn't deserve it. The top performers don't live like that. They are ruthless with their time, because they understand its value, not in theory, but in reality. They don't overcommit. They don't over-explain. They don't start what they can't finish. Every task they do has a reason behind it. Every day they live pushes them forward. That's not luck, that's discipline. You have to build a system that protects your energy and sharpens your focus. It starts with clarity. You can't manage what you haven't defined. What are your non-negotiables? What absolutely must get done today, no matter what? What will move your life forward? You don't need a long to-do list. You need a short list of things that actually matter. Stop confusing activity with progress. Stop wasting hours being busy without being effective. Discipline is about doing less with more intensity. It's not about perfection. It's about making your time count. Wake up earlier if you need to. Not to prove anything to anyone, but to reclaim the part of the day that belongs to you. Don't open your phone first thing in the morning. That's how your mind gets hijacked. Begin your day with intention. Define your priorities. Set clear boundaries, and most importantly, follow through. Discipline is built through repetition. Every time you do what you said you'd do, your confidence grows. Every time you break your own rules, your self-respect weakens. The people at the top respect their own time so deeply that they won't even tolerate themselves wasting it. You don't need more hours, you need fewer excuses. Most of the time you're not actually out of time. You're just spending it on things that don't matter. Social media, endless scrolling, pointless conversations, constant multitasking. These are not minor distractions. They are the reason your goals are still out of reach. Stop negotiating with your goals. Stop trying to fit discipline around your impulses. Build your day around structure, and let that structure build your future. There will always be temptations to break your routine. That's why it's called discipline. It's not supposed to be easy. If it were, everyone would be consistent. Everyone would be strong. But most people aren't. Because most people are still trying to live by mood. Mood is unreliable. Mood changes with the weather, the news, the comments, the cravings. Discipline doesn't change. Discipline says, I show up anyway. That's what separates the great from the average. It's not talent. It's not luck. It's their ability to do what needs to be done, even when they don't feel like doing it. Learn to protect your time with silence. You don't need to explain your schedule to everyone. You don't need to say yes to everything. You don't owe people unlimited access to your day. The more disciplined you become, the less available you need to be. Focused people are not rude. They're just clear. They've stopped trying to be everything for everyone, because they're finally committed to becoming something real for themselves. Use your calendar like a weapon. Don't just schedule meetings. Schedule deep work. Schedule thinking time. Schedule rest. Schedule the tasks that no one else sees but that change everything for you. Don't let your day fill itself. Fill it with purpose. Most people fill their calendar based on what others demand. Top performers fill it based on what they want to create. And that's how their life becomes something powerful, not because they work harder, but because they work with sharper aim. Discipline will always feel hard at first. Your brain will resist it. Your body will argue with it. Your environment might even push against it. But none of that matters if you've already decided. That's the secret most people never realize. Discipline becomes easier when the decision is already made. You're not thinking about whether to show up. You're just showing up. You're not negotiating with the plan. You're executing the plan. That mental shift frees up energy that others waste on indecision. Build routines that remove friction. Prepare the night before. Know what your morning looks like before you fall asleep. Create structure around your work blocks. Keep your environment clean and distraction-free. Set digital boundaries. Turn off notifications. Use tools that help you stay focused. But more than anything, show up with intention. Not once a week. Every single day. Because the truth is, how you use your day is how you build your life. Time is the raw material of everything you want to become. If you want peace, build it with how you spend your hours. If you want success, earn it with your daily choices. If you want respect, start by respecting your own time. Nobody can do this part for you. But once you do it, everything else becomes clearer. You stop feeling behind. You stop blaming the world for your delays. You stop living in reaction. You start living on purpose. This is how the top 1% live. Not in chaos. Not in excuse, but in control. They don't rely on willpower. They rely on systems. They don't let failure define them. They return to their habits. They don't wait for inspiration. They move from discipline. That's the life you're capable of building. Not tomorrow. Not when it's convenient. But now. Because now is the only time you ever truly have, and what you do with it shapes everything. Chapter 4. Develop focus by removing what distracts your growth. Focus is not something you wait to feel. It's something you create by forcefully clearing away what pulls you away from your direction. The people at the top are not the ones with the most talent, connections, or even confidence. They are the ones who have made the decision to remove everything that interferes with their growth. That decision is not easy. It's not glamorous, but it is essential. Distraction doesn't always look like failure. Sometimes it looks like things that feel urgent, entertaining, or comforting. But if those things pull you away from what actually matters, they are still distractions. If you're serious about changing your life, you need to become ruthless about what you allow in your mental space. You don't rise by trying to do everything. You rise by doing what matters and eliminating the rest. Growth requires full presence, full energy, and full intention. You can't grow if your attention is scattered across every notification, every piece of gossip, every temptation to check out and disconnect from the work that needs to be done. The top 1% don't just know how to focus, they've structured their lives to protect it. They've made hard decisions about what to let go of, what to ignore, and who to stop listening to. They don't keep things around just because they're familiar. They're not afraid to say no, and they're not ashamed to simplify, even if it makes them less available to the noise that most people drown in. Every distraction you tolerate is a thief of your potential. It doesn't just waste a few seconds. It drains your drive. It breaks your momentum. It slows your thinking. It creates mental friction that makes it harder to come back to the work that actually matters. If you want to take your life seriously, you must begin by clearing out what doesn't belong. Not someday, not when it becomes easier, but right now. That means taking a hard look at how you spend your time, where your attention goes, and who has access to your energy. Focus grows in clean spaces. You don't need a perfect environment, but you do need one that supports clarity. Start with your physical space. Get rid of clutter. Make your work area calm and simple. Don't surround yourself with things that constantly tempt you to shift into comfort mode. Every object you see either supports your intention or distracts from it. Create a space that reminds you of what you're here to do. Keep it honest. Keep it sharp. Then go deeper. Look at your digital space. Your phone isn't evil, but if you don't control it, it will control you. Remove apps that waste your time. Turn off all notifications that don't help your purpose. Check your devices at specific times instead of letting them interrupt you all day. Most people never focus deeply because they never allow themselves to get far enough away from distraction. They're always one vibration away from being pulled back into the surface-level world of reaction. That's not how the top 1% live. They build boundaries. They use technology. They don't let technology use them. You also have to be honest about what's distracting you emotionally. Old pain that you haven't dealt with, relationships that constantly pull you into drama, fears that you've accepted as true. These are harder to see, but they are just as dangerous. You can't focus if your mind is carrying weight that doesn't belong to your present. You need to do the internal work to release what no longer supports your direction. You're not weak for having emotional distractions, but you are responsible for facing them. Focus is also about choices. Every time you say yes to something small, you say no to something bigger. The strongest people are not the ones who do the most. They're the ones who protect their mental bandwidth like it's gold. They choose their inputs. They limit their exposure to information that doesn't help them grow. They don't consume everything. They consume with purpose. That's how they keep their mind clear. Not because they're naturally better, but because they've chosen better filters. And don't forget, people can be distractions too. Some people support your focus and some people erode it. You don't need to cut everyone off, but you do need to be honest about who in your life helps you grow and who pulls you backward, who respects your boundaries and who constantly breaks them, who speaks life into your vision and who makes you doubt yourself. These aren't small details. They shape your mental state, and your mental state shapes your progress. Protect your circle, even if that means spending more time alone. Solitude is powerful when it's chosen for the sake of growth. When you remove what distracts your growth, you'll face another challenge: discomfort. Focus feels lonely at first. Distraction is addictive because it's familiar and easy. The moment you remove it, your mind will crave stimulation. It will try to pull you back into habits that waste time and kill progress. That's normal, but that's also your test. Can you sit with the discomfort long enough to build new patterns? Can you resist the pull toward comfort long enough to feel the benefits of clarity? The people who reach the top are not superhuman. They just stayed focused long enough for the results to compound. They gave their energy to the right things, even when it was boring, even when it was quiet, even when nobody else was watching. They weren't chasing noise, they were building something real. And over time that consistency turned into skill. That skill turned into progress, and that progress turned into mastery. You can build that same life, but you have to be intentional. You can't let your focus depend on how the day feels. You have to treat it like a responsibility, a responsibility to yourself, your future, and your potential. Every day, ask yourself, what is stealing my attention right now? What am I allowing that I should be eliminating? Where am I giving time without getting progress in return? This is not about being harsh, it's about being honest. Your time is limited. Your energy is not infinite. Your goals cannot wait for you to get organized someday. That day won't come unless you make it come. So make it come by clearing out the noise, by simplifying your routines, by cleaning up your inputs, by disconnecting from distractions. That's where real focus lives. Not in a perfect environment, but in an environment you take responsibility for. Let everyone else keep chasing comfort. Let them keep scrolling, complaining, drifting and wondering why things never change. You're not here for that. You're here to grow. You're here to rise. You're here to focus. And to do that, you must remove whatever stands in the way. One decision at a time. One day at a time. One clean space at a time. That's how you break free from distraction. That's how you reclaim your attention. That's how you finally begin to make real progress. Not because you're doing more, but because you've stopped doing what doesn't serve you. And in that space, growth becomes not just possible but inevitable. Chapter 5. Practice emotional control in every difficult situation. Emotions can either lead you or serve you. The difference between the two defines how far you go in life. The top 1% don't ignore emotions, and they don't pretend to be unaffected. What sets them apart is that they've trained themselves to stay steady when others collapse. They remain calm in storms that break others apart. They respond when others react. This kind of emotional control isn't natural. It's developed, it's practiced, it's earned through repetition in hard moments, where everything in you wants to break, but you choose discipline instead. Emotional control is not about shutting down what you feel. It's about choosing how you behave despite what you feel. In every difficult situation, you have two paths: surrender to emotion or take command of it. The first path is automatic, the second is conscious, and that difference is everything. Most people never learn how to pause. They live in a state of reaction. Someone says something disrespectful, and they lash out. A situation becomes overwhelming, and they shut down. A plan doesn't work, and they spiral into frustration. It feels normal. It even feels justified. But it keeps them stuck in patterns that rob them of power. Reacting on impulse might feel good in the moment, but it creates damage you have to clean up later. Words you can't take back. Decisions you can't undo. Trust you can't rebuild. When you give your emotions full control, you give away your strength. The people who rise refuse to be prisoners to their feelings. They've learned how to observe emotion without becoming it. In difficult moments, your nervous system wants to take over. Your heart rate rises. Your thoughts race. Your breathing shortens. This is where most people lose control, not because they're weak, but because they've never trained themselves to pause. That pause is the difference. It's not about never getting angry or anxious or disappointed. It's about catching yourself before you let the emotion drive your behavior. That pause gives you time to process instead of explode. It gives you the space to think clearly, to choose wisely, to stay aligned with who you want to be rather than how you feel in that second. Practicing emotional control starts with awareness. You can't manage what you refuse to notice. Begin by asking yourself throughout the day, how am I feeling right now, and why? Don't wait until you're overwhelmed. Practice in small moments. The traffic jam, the delayed email, the passive comment. These are your training ground. If you can't stay calm in the small frustrations, you won't hold your ground in the big storms. People often wait until they're at their limit to try and control their emotions, but that's like trying to swim for the first time in the middle of an ocean. Start in the shallow end. Build the skill before the crisis. A big part of emotional control is removing personal meaning from situations that are simply hard. Not every obstacle is an attack. Not every challenge is unfair. Not every failure is personal. When something difficult happens, people naturally turn inward and make it about themselves. This always happens to me. Why can't I get it right? They're doing this to hurt me. That mindset makes emotions stronger and thinking weaker. The top performers see the same events through a different lens. They ask, what is this trying to teach me? Or what's the best response I can choose right now? They stay in charge of their narrative, and because of that, they stay in charge of their behavior. You also need to develop strategies that anchor you when emotions rise. Breathing deeply is not just a relaxation trick. It's a tool to rewire your nervous system in real time. 3 slow breaths can bring you out of a panic and into presence. Movement helps too. Step away from the situation. Stretch. Go outside. Let your body discharge tension. Write down what you're feeling. Don't bottle it up, but don't dump it on others either. Get it out in a way that helps you process it, not project it. Another essential skill is learning to delay emotional decisions. If you're angry, tired, or overwhelmed, postpone the decision until you've returned to clarity. The biggest mistakes are made in emotional storms. The people at the top don't make decisions in the heat. They cool off first. They gather information. They respond with precision. That doesn't make them slow, it makes them smart. Emotional control doesn't mean you suppress everything. It means you choose the right time and way to act based on principle, not pressure. Difficult situations are not the enemy. They're the arena where you develop strength. They show you where your work is. They expose what still triggers you, what still owns you, and what you haven't yet healed. That information is valuable. Don't run from it. Use it. Let difficulty reveal your weak spots so you can strengthen them. Let it show you how far you've come and how far you still have to go. Every challenge is an opportunity to reinforce your identity. Will you be someone who reacts without thinking, or someone who responds with control, clarity, and consistency? One of the most overlooked aspects of emotional control is preparation. You can't always predict situations, but you can prepare for how you'll show up. Start your day with a clear mental reset. Remind yourself of who you are and how you want to respond, regardless of what happens. Visualize pressure. Anticipate chaos. Practice composure. You can condition yourself to meet difficulty with strength, but only if you take ownership of your mindset before life tests it. This preparation helps you show up with more intention and less confusion. Emotional control also includes how you treat yourself after a tough moment. You won't always get it right. Sometimes the emotion will win. You'll snap, you'll break down, you'll regret something. That's part of being human. But what matters most is how you respond after the moment passes. Do you shame yourself, or do you reflect and grow? Do you spiral into guilt, or do you extract a lesson and move forward? The top 1% take full accountability without beating themselves down. They see emotional slips not as identity failures, but as reminders to go deeper in their training. This way of living builds power over time. You start to feel unshakable, not because life becomes easier, but because you've built inner steadiness. You're not constantly drained by emotional chaos. You're not pulled into drama or derailed by criticism. You're not living in fear of how you'll respond next time, because you've practiced for it. That kind of control builds trust. Trust in yourself, and trust from others. People begin to see you as grounded, reliable, and strong, not because you don't feel, but because you feel without falling apart. This is the kind of strength the world needs more of, not louder voices, but calmer minds. Not more reaction, but more presence. Not emotional suppression, but emotional leadership. That's your job, not just for others, but for yourself. To become someone who can handle life with grace, pressure with courage, and chaos with focus. The goal isn't perfection, it's practice. It's getting a little stronger each time. It's noticing the emotion, acknowledging it, and then acting with integrity. That's how you change your patterns. That's how you grow your power. One moment at a time. One pause at a time. One difficult situation at a time. And over time, emotional control won't be something you try to remember. It will be something you live by. Something you carry with you. Something that protects your peace, sharpens your decisions, and strengthens your future. Chapter 6. Work on yourself when no one is watching you. The real work begins when the world goes quiet. When nobody is there to cheer for you, check on you, or recognize your effort. That's when your character is revealed. Most people only push themselves when they know someone's watching, when they're being measured, when there's praise or pressure involved. But the people who truly grow, the ones who separate themselves from the crowd, are the ones who show up when no one else is looking. They don't need an audience to be consistent. They don't need validation to take action. They don't need reminders to stay disciplined. They've built something stronger than motivation. They've built self-respect. When you rely on others to hold you accountable, you give away control of your future. If you only do the work when it's visible, you're not building real strength, you're performing, and performance fades the moment the attention disappears. But those who rise don't live for performance, they live for progress. They know the real transformation happens in the dark. It happens in silence. It happens in moments that feel small, repetitive, and unnoticed. While others are sleeping, wasting time, or avoiding discomfort, they are showing up to train their mind, improve their craft, and push their limits. This kind of private discipline is rare because it's lonely. There are no rewards in the beginning, no compliments, no likes, no recognition, just the quiet voice in your head saying, "You said you would," and the more you honor that voice, the more powerful you become. Not louder, not flashier, just unshakable. Because your confidence no longer depends on external approval, it's built from the inside out. There is a kind of power that grows when you keep promises to yourself behind closed doors. Every early morning, you wake up when you don't want to. Every workout you complete when no one's watching. Every hour you spend learning, building, and sharpening your mind while others scroll through distractions. Every time you choose growth over comfort and discipline over impulse, you reinforce a belief that you are the kind of person who follows through, and that belief compounds into something unstoppable over time. You don't need to announce your efforts. You don't need to show people your progress. The results will show eventually. Let them be surprised. Let your consistency speak louder than your words. Most people pave recognition because they haven't built trust with themselves. They're waiting to be seen because they haven't yet seen what they're truly capable of. When you do the inner work privately, you stop needing applause. You don't work for attention. You work because you know what's at stake if you don't. No one will understand how much effort it takes to build yourself in silence. No one will see the sacrifices you make, the hours you invest, the temptations you turn down, the inner battles you fight daily, and that's okay. They don't need to, because this journey is not for them, it's for you. You're not proving anything. You're becoming something. And becoming is personal. Becoming is sacred. Becoming requires solitude. You'll be tempted to skip days. You want to wait until someone notices. You'll wonder if it's even worth it. Those are the moments that define you. When it's easy to quit, but you don't. When it's hard to keep going, but you do. when nobody's watching, but you show up anyway. That's where the gap is created between those who hope for change and those who earn it. If you want to rise, stop waiting for conditions to be perfect. Stop waiting for support. Stop waiting for support. Stop waiting for recognition. Start training yourself to move with quiet purpose. Build your strength in the background. Let others waste time proving. You focus on improving. There's no pressure when you're working alone. That's the best time to experiment, to fail without fear, to push past what's comfortable and reach something new. Your pace is your own. Your effort is your responsibility. Your growth is your reward. Working on yourself in silence also teaches you patience. You learn that not all results come quickly. You learn that consistency beats speed. You learn that mastery comes from repetition, not from excitement. When you do the work day after day, with no one watching, you become immune to the highs and lows of public opinion. You stop chasing approval. You start building excellence. There's nothing glamorous about showing up every day to do hard things when nobody's asking you to. But that's where real identity is formed. Not in public victories, but in private effort. You want confidence, earn it in private. You want peace, build it through personal discipline. You want success, create it when nobody else sees your work. That's where it begins. People will only see the outcome. They'll see the version of you that finally arrived. But they'll never fully grasp the nights you spent working alone. The mornings you pushed yourself when no one would have known if you skipped. The mental battles you won in silence. And that's fine, they're not supposed to understand. The ones who truly get it are the ones who are doing it too. So protect your private time. Treat it like the foundation of your life. It's where you reflect, reset and rebuild. It's where you strip away the noise and hear your own thoughts clearly. It's where you ask the hard questions and find honest answers. It's where you reconnect with your deeper purpose and recommit to your higher standards. The most dangerous mindset you can have is waiting to be seen before you act. If you want to be great, act like it before the world believes you. Show up when no one cares. Give your best effort when no one will reward you. Build habits in silence. Let your actions speak. Let your life prove it. You don't need to talk about how focused you are. Just be focused. You don't need to announce your goals. Just work toward them, one step at a time, every single day. This is the path of the few, the ones who grow in private, the ones who don't need permission, the ones who turn down distractions because their vision matters more. You don't need a spotlight to get serious. You need integrity. You need humility. You need discipline that doesn't rely on the mood of the day. That's how the strongest people are made. And if you stay consistent, truly consistent, everything you've been working on will start to show. Not immediately, not loudly, but undeniably. And when it does, people will wonder how you did it. They'll ask for your secret. They'll assume it came easy, but you'll know the truth. You built it in silence. You earned it when nobody saw. You became the version of yourself you always knew you could be, not because someone pushed you, but because you decided to. Chapter 7. Make powerful decisions without fear or hesitation. Life changes the moment you decide with clarity and strength. Every breakthrough, every step forward, every transformation begins with a decision. Not a weak, half-made, hesitant choice, but a clear, powerful decision that leaves no room for backtracking. The top 1% move through life differently because they don't sit in hesitation. They don't fear making mistakes more than they fear standing still. They understand that progress is made through direction, and direction begins with deciding. Waiting too long, overthinking every detail, doubting every move. These are the habits that kill momentum, break confidence, and waste years of potential. The people who win in life are the ones who train themselves to decide with courage. You will never feel ready. You will never have all the information. There will never be a moment where everything is guaranteed. That's why decision-making is a skill, not a reaction. You must build it deliberately. You must build the ability to choose and commit. Most people spend their lives trying to avoid mistakes, but in the process they also avoid growth. Fear makes them hesitate. Doubt keeps them stuck. Comfort makes them delay. But what they don't realize is that indecision is also a decision to stay the same. And that's the most dangerous place to live. When you delay decisions, you train your mind to depend on circumstances. You wait for signs. You wait for certainty. You wait for other people's approval. And the longer you wait, the harder it becomes to trust yourself. The top performers don't operate like that. They trust their instincts. They weigh the facts, but they don't get lost in them. They think, but they don't drown in overthinking. And once they choose, they don't keep looking back. They move forward. They take full ownership. They either succeed or they learn, but they never stay stuck. To make powerful decisions, you must first know what you want. Clarity is not optional. If you don't know where you're going, every option will look tempting and every risk will feel threatening. Start with the outcome. What matters to you? What are you trying to create? What is non-negotiable in your life? When you get clear on that, decisions become simpler. Not easier, but simpler. You stop entertaining paths that lead nowhere. You stop giving energy to confusion. You stop seeking endless opinions. You begin to build your life based on what aligns with your values, not what keeps you safe. The fear of making the wrong choice is natural, but what's worse than the wrong choice is no choice at all. Because no choice means no progress. And without progress, confidence dies. The people who grow are not the ones who always get it right. They're the ones who keep moving forward and adjusting as they go. They're not afraid of failure. They're afraid of wasting time. They act boldly because they know that every decision teaches them something. They understand that even a wrong step is better than standing still. Because from movement you gain clarity. From action, you gain feedback. From motion you build momentum. Your ability to make powerful decisions will determine the quality of your life. Relationships, career, health, habits, direction. It all depends on what you choose to do when the moment calls for action. Most people fold under pressure because they haven't trained themselves to decide under stress. They panic, they avoid, they postpone. But pressure is not the problem. It's the lack of preparation that breaks them. If you wait until you feel confident to act, you'll miss every opportunity that requires courage. To develop decision-making strength, you must start practicing in daily life. Stop outsourcing your small decisions. Don't ask others to think for you. Decide what to eat, what to wear, how to use your time, where to direct your energy. These seem like minor things, but they build the internal muscle of self-trust. Every time you make a decision, you're reinforcing your belief in your own judgment. That belief compounds. It gives you the ability to handle bigger decisions without flinching. Learn to trust your intuition. Logic is important, but intuition is real. It's not emotion. It's built from experience, pattern recognition, and subconscious wisdom. When something feels off, it usually is. When something feels aligned, there's usually a reason. Don't ignore those signals. Don't drown them in overanalysis. Listen to them. They will guide you faster than endless research ever could. The more you act on your inner compass, the sharper it becomes. You also need to remove the fear of regret. No decision will ever be perfect. Life is unpredictable, but that's not a reason to freeze. It's a reason to move smarter, with awareness and flexibility. If something doesn't work, change it. If you make a mistake, adjust. If you learn something new, pivot. The strength is not in never changing. It's in making clear moves and being willing to grow through them. The top 1% make bold moves, Not because they know everything, but because they're willing to course correct without shame. The worst decisions are the ones you don't own. When you blame others, wait for permission, or avoid responsibility, you weaken your ability to lead your life. Powerful decision makers take full responsibility for their outcomes. If it goes well, they move forward. If it doesn't, they learn and grow, but they never hide from the weight of choice. They carry it with pride, because it means they're in control. If you want to change your life, you must be willing to carry that same responsibility. Sometimes, decisions feel heavy because of what you might lose, but avoiding the decision doesn't remove the cost, it just delays the pain. Letting go is part of growth. Leaving behind what no longer serves you is part of rising. If you always try to keep everything, you'll never create space for what's better. You must be brave enough to choose something different, even if it means walking away from what's familiar. That's the price of evolution. That's the requirement for progress. You also need to remove the need for constant reassurance. Other people will not always understand your choices. Some will question you, some will doubt you, some will try to influence you out of their own fear. If you're always looking for confirmation, you'll be controlled by other people's opinions. But the people who rise the highest make choices that others don't always agree with, not out of rebellion, but out of deep alignment. They don't need to be understood. They need to stay true to themselves. That's real power. Practice making decisions faster. Give yourself deadlines. Don't let small choices steal your time. Train your brain to decide and act. Keep the momentum. You can always refine along the way. Perfectionism is just fear in disguise. It looks responsible, but it's really avoidance. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Create momentum with action. Clarity comes after the decision, not before it. And when the time comes to make a big move, one that changes your life, challenges your identity, or redefines your future, breathe, center yourself and decide. Not with fear, not with panic, with purpose, with resolve, with strength. Because that's how the top 1% live. They don't avoid hard choices. They don't delay what needs to be done. They lead with decisive action. And that's why their lives move forward, while others stay stuck. So if you're standing at a crossroad, unsure of what to do, understand this. Not choosing is a choice, and it's one that leads nowhere. Be bold. Choose. Move. Own it. Grow through it. Trust yourself, because in the end, your life is shaped not by what you avoid, but by what you're willing to face and act on, without fear or hesitation. Chapter 8. Learn something valuable every single day alone. No one becomes great by accident. Growth is not a lucky moment, it's a decision repeated daily. The people who rise to the top of any field in any era have one thing in common: they never stop learning, and they don't wait for someone to teach them. They learn on their own. They learn when no one's giving them credit for it. They learn because they know knowledge is leverage. They know wisdom is power. They understand that their mind is their greatest tool, and sharpening it is not a luxury, it's a responsibility. 1 hour alone with the right information can do more for your life than 10 hours surrounded by noise. When you commit to learning something valuable every single day by yourself, without needing permission or recognition, you become unstoppable. It's not about consuming everything. It's about choosing what builds you. The average person wastes hours every day scrolling through distractions, watching people who aren't even living the life they want. They fill their mind with opinions, entertainment, and surface-level information that adds no strength to their thinking. But the top 1% are intentional with their input. They read. They reflect. They study. They take notes. They ask better questions. They observe their own behavior. They seek out truth, not trends. And they do it quietly, alone, because they don't need an audience to become more. Learning alone is how you build depth. It's how you go beyond the shallow advice that fills the internet. It's where you uncover what actually works for you, not just what sounds good to others. When you take the time to sit with an idea, to challenge your thinking, to wrestle with a difficult concept, you begin to grow in ways that can't be faked. You begin to change your patterns. You begin to see the world differently. You stop being influenced by every new voice because you've started developing your own. Learning is not memorizing facts. It's developing awareness. It's creating clarity. It's becoming someone who sees what others miss and understands what others ignore. This habit, learning alone every single day, does something powerful over time. It trains your mind to be still. It sharpens your focus. It builds discipline. Most people can't sit with themselves for 10 minutes without distraction. They feel the urge to be entertained, stimulated, comforted. But when you train yourself to learn in silence, to go deep into one idea, to sit with one powerful book, one meaningful lecture, one challenging question, you start to separate yourself. You start to become a thinker, not just a consumer. And in a world that's addicted to speed, depth is rare and valuable. You don't need hours a day, you need consistency. 30 minutes with a book that teaches you something real. 20 minutes analyzing your own habits and mindset. 15 minutes writing down what you've learned from a mistake. Learning doesn't always come from a teacher. Sometimes your life is the teacher. Your experiences, your failures, your patterns. But only if you slow down long enough to study them. When you stop needing others to guide you, you take full control of your evolution. This is how you break through the noise. While others wait for someone to motivate them, you build momentum by yourself. While others hope for a mentor, you become your own. While others complain about not having time, you create time by eliminating what doesn't matter. And what you learn in those daily moments alone becomes the foundation for your confidence. You know what you know. You've earned it. No one gave it to you. No one can take it from you. The people at the top didn't wait to be taught. They learned alone in quiet rooms, early mornings, late nights, in books that most people never touch, from mentors who never knew their name. They pieced together wisdom from everywhere, filtered it through their own life, and turned it into action. That's the difference. They don't just learn to know. They learn to grow, to change, to solve, to lead. Every bit of insight they gain is fuel for progress. They're not trying to sound smart. They're trying to get better. You have that same opportunity every single day. You don't need perfect conditions. You don't need approval. You just need to decide that learning is not a task. It's a lifestyle. It's how you think. It's how you spend your time. It's how you lead yourself when no one is watching. Start with what matters. Learn about health so your body stays strong. Learn about mindset so your thoughts stay sharp. Learn about finance so you can make smarter decisions. Learn about communication so your words have power. Learn about discipline so your habits can hold up under pressure. Every area of your life is waiting for your attention. Give it. Learning alone also teaches you responsibility. There's no one to blame if you don't grow. There's no one to hide behind. You can't pretend you didn't have the time. You can't say no one told you. You are in charge, and that's a gift. Because when you take ownership, you unlock freedom. You're no longer dependent on someone to push you. You push yourself, and from that internal drive, you create a life that's built, not borrowed. You don't have to do what everyone else is doing. You don't have to follow the crowd. You don't need to spend hours online trying to catch up. You can take a different path. You can unplug. You can sit down with one idea, one goal and one notebook, and begin learning with real intent. Not for status, not for display, but because you're serious about growing into someone stronger. And when you do this day after day, something changes. You walk differently. You speak with more certainty. You make decisions faster. You stop looking for shortcuts. You stop seeking approval. You stop doubting yourself every time something gets hard. Because you've done the inner work. You've invested in your mind. You've learned what matters. And that knowledge turns into strength that others can feel, even if they don't know where it came from. You will never regret the time you spend learning something valuable alone. You will never wish you had scrolled more or talked less. The time you give to quiet, focused personal growth will pay you back in ways you can't yet see. And the best part, no one can do it for you. No one else controls how much you learn. That's yours to own, yours to build, yours to protect. So make it your mission every single day. Learn something real. Read a chapter. Reflect on your behavior. Revisit a mistake. Ask better questions. Study someone great. Challenge your comfort. Upgrade your beliefs. Make time for solitude. Make space for wisdom. That's how you grow. That's how you lead yourself forward. That's how you rise. Quietly, steadily, powerfully. And one day, when people ask you how you became so grounded, so clear, so capable, you won't have to say much. You'll just know, because it all started with one simple choice, to learn something valuable every single day. Chapter 9. Invest your energy only in what truly matters. Your energy is your most limited and valuable resource, and yet most people give it away like it costs nothing. They waste it on meaningless arguments, shallow distractions, and people who don't bring them peace or growth. They drain themselves with guilt, overthinking, people-pleasing, and trying to fix everything that was never their responsibility in the first place. The reason most lives stay small isn't because of a lack of talent or time, but because of misplaced energy. The people who rise, who lead, who evolve, who build something real, are the ones who protect their energy like it's sacred. Because it is. You don't get to create a meaningful life if you're constantly exhausted by what doesn't matter. You won't build anything lasting if your time and energy are spread thin over 100 things that lead nowhere. You need to get ruthless with where your energy goes, not angry, not bitter, just clear. Because your energy builds your reality. Where you direct it determines what grows. If your energy is scattered, your life will be too. If your energy is focused, everything changes. Start by getting honest about what drains you. Not just what annoys you for a moment, but what truly leaves you tired, frustrated, unfocused, and off track. Maybe it's the conversations that go in circles, the endless news cycle that keeps you anxious, the scrolling that makes you numb, the obligations you accepted just to avoid saying no, the people who expect your energy but never offer theirs in return. All of this has a cost, and if you don't count it, you'll keep paying without realizing how much you're losing. Protecting your energy doesn't mean isolating yourself or avoiding discomfort. It means choosing where you give yourself fully. It means showing up completely for what actually moves your life forward. It means cutting the emotional weight of things that don't align with your values. The top 1% don't do more, they do less, but with more intensity. They simplify, they strip away the noise, they clear their plate of low-value tasks and pour everything they have into what matters most. You don't have infinite energy. You wake up each day with a limited supply. What you give your first attention to, what you emotionally engage with, what you allow to occupy your mental space, that determines how much is left for your goals, your growth, your peace. If you start your day checking messages, reacting to other people's urgency, absorbing opinions that distract you, you've already handed your power away. You've let the world decide where your energy goes, instead of choosing it yourself. Take it back. Start your days with intention. Guard the first hour like it's your foundation, because it is. Give your attention to what strengthens you, centers you, reminds you of what you're building. Read something that makes you wiser. Move your body to gain strength. Sit in silence to gain clarity. Then step into the world knowing what matters and what doesn't, and keep that filter with you all day. Ask yourself often, does this deserve my energy, or am I giving it out of habit? Most people say yes to too much, not because they care, but because they're afraid. Afraid of disappointing others, afraid of missing out, afraid of confrontation. But every yes that's not rooted in truth becomes a weight you carry. It splits your energy, it fills your schedule, but empties your spirit. The more you say yes to what doesn't matter, the less power you have to invest in what does. Saying no is not rejection, it's direction. It's choosing your path on purpose. It's deciding that your energy deserves a purpose, not just a place to be spent. Every time you protect your energy, you gain momentum. You stop starting over. You stop getting distracted. You stop falling into emotional traps that keep you stuck. You start seeing clearly where your time is best used. You start showing up with full focus, full presence, full intensity. That's how progress is made. Not by doing everything, but by doing the right things deeply and consistently. You don't need more time. You need better boundaries. You need a standard. You need to be able to look at something and say, this doesn't deserve my energy today, and then walk away without guilt. Your peace is worth protecting. Your goals are worth prioritizing. Your life is worth living on your terms. The more you learn to withdraw your energy from what doesn't serve your growth, the more you'll notice how much strength returns to you. You won't feel scattered anymore. You'll feel grounded. You won't feel exhausted by everything. You'll feel powerful in what you've chosen. This shift won't happen overnight. You've spent years building habits around pleasing, proving, responding, reacting, but every day is a new chance to take your energy seriously, to stop letting people waste it, to stop letting your past drain it, to stop giving it away just to feel needed. You are not here to feed everything that asks for your attention. You are here to build, to lead, to become, and that requires energy, focused energy, clean energy, energy with direction. It's not selfish to protect your energy. It's responsible, it's mature, it's necessary. You can't help anyone if you're constantly drained. You can't give your best to what matters if you've already given your energy to what doesn't. You can be kind without being available for everything. You can care deeply without participating in every emotional demand. You can love people and still choose where your energy goes. Keep your circle clean. Surround yourself with those who respect your energy, who don't pull you down with chaos or make you responsible for their problems. People who build, who grow, who inspire, not just entertain or distract. Protect your space, protect your routines, protect your peace, because these are the roots of everything you're trying to grow. There is nothing passive about this. Choosing where your energy goes is a daily act of leadership. It takes awareness, it takes discipline, it takes courage to disappoint the wrong people, so you can stay loyal to your mission. But the reward is a life that feels aligned, powerful, peaceful, and productive. So stop wasting your energy explaining yourself to people who aren't trying to understand you. Stop giving your energy to distractions that have no return. Stop chasing situations that never gave back what they took. Redirect all of that energy into your vision, into your craft, into your peace, into your habits, into your healing, into your future. Your energy is your currency. Invest it where it compounds, where it elevates your life, where it strengthens your identity, where it builds something you can be proud of. The people who create a life of meaning don't just manage time, they manage energy. They don't try to please everyone. They stay loyal to what matters, and that's your path too. Not to be everything for everyone, but to become exactly who you're meant to be by choosing what truly deserves your energy every single day. Chapter 10. Surround yourself with strong, driven, focused people. The people you spend the most time with shape your future more than any other factor. Your thoughts, habits, and ambitions mirror those around you. If you surround yourself with distracted, unmotivated, or negative individuals, you risk being pulled into their patterns. But when you choose to be around strong, driven, and focused people, you raise your own standards without even trying. The top 1% understand this truth deeply. They know that their environment is a reflection of who they become, so they choose their company with intention and care. It's easy to underestimate the power of the company you keep. You might think your goals are solely about your own effort, but your inner circle either lifts you up or drags you down. Weak or unfocused friends create subtle pressures that chip away at your confidence and discipline. They make distractions seem normal and excuses seem valid. They can unintentionally lower your expectations and steal your energy with drama or negativity. That's why the strongest people get intentional about their social circles. They don't just hope for good friends. They actively seek people who challenge them to be better. Being around driven people pushes you to adopt a mindset of growth and action. When you see others grinding, learning, and committing, you feel motivated to do the same. Their energy becomes contagious. Their habits become standards you want to meet. Their success stories become proof that your own goals are possible. This kind of environment makes it harder to settle for less, harder to procrastinate, harder to give up when challenges arise. Instead of feeling isolated in your ambition, you feel supported and understood. Choosing strong people also means choosing honesty. The right friends tell you the truth even when it's uncomfortable. They don't let you coast on excuses or settle for mediocrity. They hold you accountable with kindness and firmness. They celebrate your wins, but also challenge you to see where you can improve. This kind of feedback is priceless because it pushes you beyond your comfort zone and helps you grow faster. Weak circles, on the other hand, tend to protect you from criticism, which ultimately limits your potential. Strong, driven people focus on solutions, not problems. They don't waste time blaming others or complaining about circumstances. They see challenges as opportunities to learn and improve. When you surround yourself with this attitude, you start thinking differently. You start believing you can overcome obstacles instead of being defeated by them. Your perspective changes, and that change affects everything you do. You become more resilient and more proactive because you have examples of how to handle adversity in your daily life. Surrounding yourself with focused people also helps you protect your time and energy. They respect your goals and don't demand distractions or necessary drama. They understand that your priorities matter. They encourage your discipline instead of tempting you to stray. You begin to see relationships as sources of strength rather than drains. This shift is powerful because it frees you from toxic cycles and emotional exhaustion. Your environment becomes a safe space to grow instead of a battlefield to survive. It's important to recognize that strong, driven people are not perfect. They face struggles and doubts too. But they keep moving forward regardless. They commit to their vision and stay disciplined even when it's tough. Being around people like this teaches you to embrace your own imperfections while staying committed to progress. It normalizes the struggle and replaces fear with persistence. You learn that growth is not about being flawless, but about refusing to quit. Finding these people may require effort and intentionality. It might mean distancing yourself from old habits and relationships that no longer serve you. It might mean stepping into new environments, such as workshops, mastermind groups, professional networks, or communities centered around growth. Sometimes you have to be the one who reaches out, starts conversations, or takes the risk to build new friendships. The payoff is worth it. The right connections bring opportunities, insights, and encouragement that accelerate your journey. Building a strong circle also means contributing to others' growth. Relationships are reciprocal. You can't just take motivation and inspiration, you must give it back. Share your knowledge, support others in their struggles, and celebrate their victories. This creates a culture of growth that lifts everyone involved. It also keeps you grounded and humble, reminding you that success is a shared experience, not a solo race. The top 1% don't just surround themselves with winners, they become winners together. Don't underestimate the power of daily interaction with motivated people. Small conversations, shared goals, group challenges, or even regular check-ins can make a huge difference. When you consistently connect with others who care about progress, you build habits that stick, you build confidence that deepens. You build a mindset that is relentless in the pursuit of excellence. This kind of social environment is a multiplier for your efforts. Also, be mindful of the digital world. Social media can either inspire or drain you depending on who you follow and engage with. Choose to connect with creators, thinkers, and doers who add value to your mind and spirit. Avoid the noise that pulls you into comparison, distraction, or negativity. Your online community is just as important as your real-life one. Curate both carefully. Remember that your environment shapes your identity. When you are around strong, driven, focused people, you start to see yourself through their lens. You start believing in your own potential. You start acting like the person you want to become. This is not coincidence. It's a natural consequence of human connection. The people closest to you either limit you or expand you. Choose expansion. There will be times when you outgrow certain relationships. That's natural. Growth requires change. If you feel held back by certain connections, it's okay to move on. Growth is not about loyalty to people who keep you small. It's about loyalty to your future self. Sometimes that means tough decisions, but necessary ones. Protect your growth by choosing company that honors your journey. You deserve to be surrounded by people who believe in you, challenge you, and inspire you to be better. You deserve to be in communities where focus is celebrated and distractions are minimized. You deserve relationships that fuel your ambition rather than drain it. When you invest in these connections, you create a powerful support system that carries you through tough times and celebrates your wins with genuine joy. Ultimately, surrounding yourself with strong, driven, focused people is not just about improving your life, it's about changing your mindset, your habits, and your identity. It's about creating a space where your best self can thrive. The top 1% understand that no one makes it alone. They choose their tribe wisely because they know their tribe shapes their destiny. And that's how you build a life of impact, resilience, and success. By choosing to walk alongside those who refuse to settle, who rise with you and who push you to become the best version of yourself every single day. Chapter 11. Speak only when your words add real value. True power in communication comes not from how much you speak, but from the value your words carry. Speaking without purpose dilutes your presence and wastes your energy. The top 1% understand that their voice is a tool to influence, inspire, and create change, not to fill silence or seek approval. They speak with intention, choosing moments carefully and weighing their words before they leave their lips. Every word is an opportunity to add clarity, insight, or encouragement. When you adopt this mindset, you become someone others listen to, not because you talk the most, but because you say what matters. It's easy to fall into the trap of talking just to be heard or to fill uncomfortable silences. Many people mistake quantity for quality. They flood conversations with noise, repeating themselves, sharing opinions that add no new perspective, or speaking out of habit rather than thought. This behavior wastes not only their energy, but also the attention and respect of those around them. Words spoken without value often lead to misunderstanding, miscommunication, and missed opportunities. Being selective about when and how you speak preserves your credibility and strengthens your influence. Speaking only when your words add real value requires patience and self-awareness. It means learning to listen more than you talk. Listening allows you to understand context, emotions, and needs. It lets you respond with precision rather than reaction. When you listen deeply, you avoid contributing to unnecessary chatter and instead bring insights that move conversations forward. This approach makes your contributions memorable and impactful. People begin to seek your opinion because they trust it is thoughtful and relevant. Another crucial part of adding value is clarity. Powerful speakers don't confuse others with jargon, filler words, or long-winded explanations. They distill complex ideas into simple, understandable terms. They speak with confidence and purpose. Clear communication builds trust. It removes doubt. It motivates action. When your words are precise and clear, you save time for everyone involved and create space for meaningful dialogue. Being mindful about your speech also means controlling your emotions. Speaking out of anger, fear, or frustration rarely adds value. It clouds your message and damages relationships. The top 1% master emotional control in conversations, choosing to respond thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively. They pause when needed, collect their thoughts, and speak calmly and respectfully, even in difficult situations. This emotional discipline enhances their credibility and keeps discussions productive. Adding value with your words is not just about what you say, but how you say it. Tone, pace, and body language all influence how your message is received. Speaking with confidence without arrogance, with warmth without weakness, creates connection. It invites openness. It builds rapport. People remember not just your ideas, but how you made them feel. This emotional resonance amplifies the impact of your communication. Knowing when to remain silent is just as important as knowing when to speak. Silence can be a powerful tool. It gives space for reflection, encourages others to share, and shows respect. The ability to hold silence shows confidence and patience. It signals that you don't need to fill every gap, and that your words have weight. Many conversations become richer when you allow pauses and thoughtful breaks. Silence often invites deeper thinking and better questions. To speak with real value, prepare your thoughts in advance when possible. Whether in meetings, presentations, or casual conversations, clarify your purpose. What outcome do you want? What message needs to be conveyed? Preparing reduces rambling and hesitation. It helps you express your ideas succinctly and confidently. Preparation also reduces anxiety and boosts your presence, allowing you to engage fully without distraction. Practice also matters. The ability to communicate with value grows with experience and feedback. Pay attention to how people respond to your words. Notice when your message resonates and when it falls flat. Reflect on how you can improve. Seek opportunities to speak in environments that encourage growth, such as workshops, small groups, or coaching sessions. Over time, your confidence and skill will deepen, making your communication more effective and natural. Adding value through your words extends beyond formal conversation. It applies to everyday interactions as well. Simple exchanges, emails, text messages, and social media posts all benefit from thoughtful communication. Avoid mindless chatter online. Choose to share insights, encouragement, or information that truly helps others. This creates a reputation of reliability and respect that can open doors personally and professionally. When you speak with value, you influence not just individuals but entire cultures. Leaders who master this skill inspire teams, build trust, and drive change. Their words create momentum and align people toward shared goals. They know that every message is an opportunity to shape thoughts and actions positively. Your words have the same potential. Use them wisely. Ultimately, the practice of speaking only when your words add real value is an act of respect for yourself and for others. It shows that you honor your time and energy, and that you value the time and energy of those around you. It sets you apart as someone who is intentional, trustworthy, and impactful. People will notice this difference. Doors will open. Opportunities will multiply. Your influence will grow. The choice is yours. You can speak freely without thought and blend into the noise, or you can speak intentionally and stand out as a leader of ideas and action. Every conversation is a chance to make that choice. Commit to making your words count. Build the habit of thoughtful speech. Speak with purpose and conviction, and watch how your life, relationships, and influence transform in response. When you master this principle, you reclaim your voice as a tool for growth, connection, and leadership. Your words become catalysts for change rather than distraction. You become someone whose presence commands respect and whose contributions inspire progress. That is the power of speaking only when your words add real value. Chapter 12. Push through pain by focusing on your goals. Pain is a universal experience, but it doesn't have to define your journey or stop your progress. Every person who has reached the top has faced some form of pain, physical, emotional, mental, or even spiritual. The difference between those who succeed and those who give up is not the absence of pain, but the ability to push through it with relentless focus on their goals. Pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. When you shift your attention from the discomfort to your purpose, you tap into a well of strength you never knew you had. Pain can be overwhelming. It can cloud your thinking and drain your motivation, but focusing on your goals gives pain meaning. It transforms pain from an obstacle into fuel. When you see pain as a signal rather than a stop sign, you learn to use it as a compass pointing toward growth. Every ache, every struggle becomes part of the process. This mindset helps you keep moving when your body or mind want to quit. It trains you to face discomfort with courage instead of fear. One of the most powerful tools to push through pain is clarity of purpose. When your goals are clear, specific, and deeply important to you, they become anchors in the storm. You remember why you started. You hold on to what matters beyond the momentary discomfort. This clarity creates resilience. It gives you a reason to endure. Without clear goals, pain feels endless and pointless. With clear goals, pain becomes temporary and manageable. Discipline is key in pushing through pain. Discipline is not about motivation, because motivation fluctuates. It's about committing to actions regardless of how you feel. The top 1% build routines and habits that keep them moving, even on the hardest days. They don't wait for pain to disappear before taking the next step. Instead, they act through the pain, knowing that progress is built one small effort at a time. Discipline turns pain from a barrier into a stepping stone. Another essential strategy is managing your mindset around pain. Instead of resisting pain or wishing it away, learn to accept it as part of growth. Acceptance doesn't mean surrender. It means acknowledging pain without letting it control your decisions. When you accept pain, you free mental energy to focus on solutions rather than complaints. This shift reduces the power pain has over you and strengthens your mental toughness. Visualizing success helps in pushing through pain as well. Imagine the moment when you achieve your goal. Picture how it feels, what it looks like, and how your life changes. This mental image creates motivation and hope. It provides a positive focus that can drown out the noise of discomfort. Visualization primes your brain to recognize opportunities and persevere even when the path is hard. Support systems also play a crucial role. Surround yourself with people who understand your goals and encourage you to keep going when pain strikes. They can provide perspective, advice, and accountability. Sharing your struggles doesn't make you weak, it makes you human. Support helps lighten the burden and reminds you that you're not alone in the journey. The top performers use their network wisely to maintain momentum through tough times. Breaking pain into manageable pieces makes it less intimidating. Instead of focusing on the entire journey or the intensity of pain, concentrate on the next small step. What can you do right now that moves you closer to your goal? This approach prevents overwhelm and builds confidence through consistent action. Each small victory builds momentum that propels you forward even when pain persists. Taking care of your body is important in managing pain and staying focused. Proper rest, nutrition, hydration, and movement support your physical and mental endurance. Neglecting your body makes pain worse and saps your energy. The top 1% treat their bodies as instruments of achievement. They listen to what their bodies need and respond with care. This self-care is not indulgence, but strategy. Mindfulness and breathing techniques can also help manage pain and maintain focus. When pain threatens to distract or overwhelm you, grounding yourself in the present moment reduces anxiety and stress. Deep, controlled breathing calms your nervous system and helps you regain control over your mind. Regular mindfulness practice increases your ability to endure discomfort without losing clarity or motivation. Pain also reveals your limits, which is valuable information. Knowing when to push and when to rest is part of intelligent perseverance. Pushing blindly leads to burnout and injury. The top 1% learn to listen to their body and mind with honesty. They adjust their efforts strategically to maintain progress without sacrificing health. This balance between persistence and self-awareness is critical for long-term success. Learning from pain strengthens your resilience. Every painful experience is a lesson if you choose to see it that way. Reflect on what pain taught you about your strengths, weaknesses, and values. Use those lessons to adjust your approach and become smarter in your pursuit. Growth is not just about reaching the goal, but about becoming a stronger person through the process. Keep your focus on the bigger picture when pain feels unbearable. Remind yourself that pain is temporary, but regret lasts much longer. The regret of quitting or giving in to discomfort often outweighs the pain itself. The top 1% don't want to look back and wonder what could have been. They push through pain because they know the reward is worth every struggle. Celebrate progress, no matter how small, to stay motivated. Acknowledging your efforts boosts your confidence and reduces feelings of futility. When you track your wins, you see evidence that pain is not stopping you. This builds a positive cycle where success fuels motivation, and motivation helps you endure pain even more. Finally, believe in your ability to overcome pain. Confidence is a muscle built through repeated acts of courage and focus. The more you push through pain with your goals in sight, the stronger your belief becomes. This belief becomes a shield against doubt and fear. It turns pain from a threat into a challenge you are ready to face. Pain will always come, but how you respond determines your future. By focusing on your goals, you create a powerful force that drives you beyond limits. This focus turns pain into a teacher, a motivator, and a stepping stone. It transforms your mindset and builds resilience that lasts a lifetime. The top 1% don't escape pain. They harness it. They push through because their vision is stronger than their struggle. You can do the same by choosing focus over fear and goals over comfort. This is how you rise through pain and claim your success. Chapter 13. Use silence to observe, understand, and grow deeply. Silence is often misunderstood as emptiness or weakness, when in reality it holds immense power for growth and understanding. The top 1% recognize silence as a vital tool for observing the world and themselves deeply. In the quiet moments, free from the noise of constant chatter and distraction, true insight emerges. Silence allows you to step back and see situations clearly without bias or reaction. It creates space for reflection, helping you understand motivations, emotions, and patterns that otherwise go unnoticed. This kind of observation is the foundation for meaningful growth. When you practice silence deliberately, you learn to listen, not just to others, but to your own inner voice. Most people fear silence because it forces them to confront uncomfortable truths or unresolved emotions. But facing those truths is necessary to grow. Silence offers a rare opportunity to calm the mind and connect with your authentic self. In the stillness, you gain clarity on what matters most, what holds you back, and what steps to take next. Without silence, you risk being trapped in reactive cycles driven by external noise, rather than intentional choices. Observing through silence sharpens your emotional intelligence. When you stop speaking and reacting, you become more attuned to the feelings and needs beneath words and actions. You start noticing body language, tone, and subtle cues that reveal deeper realities. This heightened awareness improves your relationships by enabling empathy and better communication. People feel heard and respected when you listen with full attention instead of rushing to respond. This respect builds trust and opens doors to deeper connection. Silence also slows down your thinking and gives space for creativity. In busy minds overwhelmed with information, silence acts as a reset button. It helps ideas surface naturally without forcing or rushing. Many great breakthroughs happen when the mind is quiet and receptive. The top performers know that stepping away from noise and busyness is essential to generate original thoughts and solutions. Silence nurtures innovation by giving your brain the rest it needs to see beyond the obvious. In moments of silence, you also cultivate patience. Silence teaches you to tolerate discomfort instead of escaping it with noise, distraction, or impulsive reactions. This patience strengthens resilience because you learn to wait for the right moment to act or speak. It prevents rash decisions that often lead to regret. Instead, silence encourages thoughtful responses aligned with your values and goals. This thoughtful approach to life distinguishes the top 1% from those caught in chaos. Using silence intentionally requires practice and courage. It is tempting to fill every quiet moment with activity, noise, or scrolling through devices. This avoidance keeps you disconnected from your inner world. But the discipline to embrace silence daily transforms your mindset. Start with small moments, pauses between tasks, silent walks, or brief meditation breaks. Gradually increase your tolerance and appreciation for stillness. Over time, silence becomes a sanctuary where you recharge mentally and emotionally. In addition to personal growth, silence enhances your decision-making. When your mind is quiet, you can weigh options without bias or emotion clouding judgment. Silence allows you to gather all information and perspectives calmly before choosing a course of action. This leads to wiser, more confident decisions. The ability to make decisions without haste or pressure is a hallmark of successful leaders and thinkers. Silence is the tool that cultivates this ability. Silence also plays a critical role in managing conflict. Instead of reacting defensively or emotionally in heated moments, choosing silence can de-escalate tension. It gives you time to process what is said and respond with clarity rather than impulse. Silence shows strength because it demonstrates control over your emotions and the situation. This strategic pause often shifts the dynamic from confrontation to understanding. The top 1% use silence to turn conflict into opportunity for growth and connection. In your daily life, silence can deepen your spiritual and mental well-being. Many traditions emphasize the importance of quietude for connecting with something greater than oneself. This connection fosters peace, gratitude, and purpose. Silence invites you to experience presence fully, free from worries about past or future. This presence reduces anxiety and increases joy. When you cultivate silence, you nurture your soul as well as your mind. Creating an environment that supports silence is important. Designate spaces and times where you can be free from interruptions and noise. This might mean turning off devices, setting boundaries with others, or scheduling quiet time. Your environment greatly influences your ability to access silence. Protecting this space shows respect for your own growth and clarity. Finally, use silence to review your progress and align with your goals. Regular reflection in silence helps you assess what is working and what needs adjustment. It keeps you grounded in your purpose and prevents drifting into distraction or complacency. This ongoing self-check builds consistency and momentum. The top 1% maintain their edge by regularly retreating into silence to sharpen their focus and renew their energy. Choosing silence is choosing depth over surface, awareness over distraction, and wisdom over noise. It is a radical act of self-care and leadership. Silence does not mean isolation, it means connection on a deeper level with yourself and the world. When you harness silence intentionally, you unlock insights and growth that loudness can never provide. This practice transforms how you think, feel, relate, and lead. The power of silence is available to you every day if you simply choose to embrace it fully. Chapter 14. Master consistency in every habit and routine. Consistency is the cornerstone of every achievement worth having. It's not about giant leaps or bursts of motivation, but about showing up every day with discipline and commitment. The top 1% know that success is built through the accumulation of small, repeated actions. Every habit and routine, no matter how simple, compounds over time to create extraordinary results. Mastering consistency means you become unstoppable because progress no longer depends on how you feel, but on what you do regularly. Most people underestimate how much their daily habits shape their lives. They focus on big goals without building the foundation that supports them. Without consistent routines, motivation fades quickly and setbacks become excuses to quit. Consistency removes that risk by creating reliable systems that carry you forward even when motivation is low or distractions arise. It turns effort into a habit so that growth becomes automatic rather than a struggle. Developing consistency requires clear intention and structure. Define exactly what habits matter most to your goals. It's better to master a few than to try to do everything and fail. Set realistic expectations for what you can maintain daily or weekly. Break habits into small, manageable steps that fit naturally into your day. This approach reduces resistance and increases your chances of success. When you start small and build gradually, consistency becomes sustainable. Tracking your habits helps reinforce consistency. Write down your progress or use apps to monitor streaks and completion rates. Seeing visual evidence of your consistency motivates you to keep going. It creates accountability that pushes you past moments of doubt or temptation to skip. Celebrate small wins because they are the milestones that lead to bigger achievements. Each completed routine strengthens your identity as someone who follows through. Accountability is another powerful factor in mastering consistency. Share your goals and routines with trusted people who encourage you and hold you responsible. When you know someone is watching, you are less likely to quit. Accountability partners can also provide support during difficult days and remind you why consistency matters. The top 1% often use coaching, mastermind groups, or close friends to maintain their momentum. You don't have to do it alone. Consistency requires flexibility but not compromise. Life is unpredictable, and sometimes routines must adapt to new circumstances. Mastery is not about perfection, but persistence. If you miss a day or face challenges, don't give up. Adjust your routine to fit the new reality and recommit immediately. Avoid the all-or-nothing mindset that turns one slip into quitting. Consistency is a lifelong practice that grows stronger through recovery and resilience. Understanding the psychology behind habits also supports consistency. Habits are formed through cues, routines, and rewards. Identify triggers that prompt your habits and design your environment to support them. For example, place workout clothes where you see them first thing in the morning or schedule work sessions at the same time each day. Creating clear cues removes decision fatigue and makes it easier to stay consistent. Reinforce habits with positive rewards that keep you motivated. Consistency in routines also strengthens your mental discipline. Repeated actions build self-control and reduce impulsivity. Over time, what once required effort becomes second nature. This automaticity frees mental energy for more complex decisions and creativity. The top 1% leverage consistent routines to preserve focus and avoid burnout. They understand that strong habits build a foundation of stability from which they can take bigger risks and pursue ambitious goals. A consistent approach to improvement fuels momentum. When you do something every day, you create a flow that accelerates progress. Tasks become easier, skills sharpen, and confidence grows. Momentum turns effort into excitement instead of obligation. This feeling of progress motivates you to keep going, creating a positive feedback loop. Without consistency, momentum stalls and goals feel out of reach. It's important to align your routines with your values and priorities. Consistency is not about busy work, but purposeful action. Review your habits regularly to ensure they serve your highest goals and adjust if necessary. Drop routines that no longer add value and replace them with those that do. This intentional alignment makes consistency more meaningful and sustainable. When your habits reflect what truly matters, consistency becomes a source of joy rather than a burden. Mastering consistency also requires patience. Results rarely appear overnight. The benefits of habits and routines compound slowly but steadily. This delayed gratification tests your commitment and character. The top performers understand that consistency builds long-term success and resilience. They focus on the process rather than immediate outcomes. This mindset helps them stay motivated during slow phases and bounce back from setbacks. In addition to individual routines, consistency in relationships and communication matters. Regularly nurturing connections and following through on commitments builds trust and respect. It shows reliability and integrity. Being consistent in how you treat others enhances your personal and professional reputation. This consistency fosters deeper bonds and opens opportunities through strong networks. Physical health routines also benefit greatly from consistency. Exercise, nutrition, and sleep habits form the foundation of energy and focus needed for high performance. Irregular care of your body creates fluctuations in mood and productivity. Consistent health habits stabilize your mind and body, making it easier to face challenges and maintain discipline in other areas. Finally, consistency builds identity. You become the person who does what they say they will do. Your habits define your character more than your intentions. When you master consistency, you stop chasing motivation and start living your values daily. This transformation creates confidence and peace because your actions match your goals. You develop a self-image of success that propels you toward even greater achievements. Mastering consistency is a lifelong commitment. It is the repeated choice to prioritize progress over comfort and discipline over distraction. The top 1% succeed not because they avoid challenges, but because they persist when others quit. They understand that greatness is forged in the everyday actions performed with unwavering dedication. By committing to consistent habits and routines, you unlock your potential and build a life of meaning, resilience, and achievement that lasts. Chapter 15. Protect your peace by saying no more often. Protecting your peace is one of the most essential skills for personal growth and sustained success. The top 1% understand that peace is not a passive state, but a valuable resource that requires active guarding. Saying no more often is a powerful way to protect this peace. It is a practice of setting boundaries, prioritizing what truly matters, and refusing to let distractions or demands steal your focus and energy. Saying no is not about rejection, but about respect for your time, your goals, and your well-being. Many people struggle with saying no because they fear disappointing others, missing opportunities, or being seen as difficult. This hesitation often leads to overcommitment and stress. When you say yes to everything, you dilute your effectiveness and lose control over your life. The top performers have learned that every yes is a trade-off. Saying yes to something unimportant means saying no to something valuable. Protecting your peace means making deliberate choices about what deserves your attention and energy. Learning to say no starts with clarity about your priorities. When you know what matters most, it becomes easier to identify what doesn't. This clarity acts as a filter through which you evaluate requests, invitations, and distractions. Not every demand deserves your time. Not every cause aligns with your value. By staying clear on your priorities, you empower yourself to decline anything that pulls you away from your purpose or drains your peace. Saying no also means communicating with honesty and respect. You don't have to be harsh or rude to protect your boundaries. Simple, clear, and polite refusals are effective. You can say no without guilt or over-explaining. Practice phrases that feel authentic to you, such as, "I appreciate the offer, but I need to focus on my current commitments," or "Thank you for thinking of me, but I'm not able to take this on right now." The more you practice, the more natural it becomes. Respecting your peace by saying no extends beyond work or tasks. It applies to your emotional and mental space as well. Decline conversations, relationships, or environments that cause unnecessary stress or negativity. Protect yourself from gossip, drama, and toxic influences. Choosing peace means choosing to surround yourself with positivity and support rather than conflict and chaos. This doesn't mean avoiding challenges, but avoiding unnecessary and draining conflicts that do not serve your growth. Technology and social media are common areas where saying no is critical. Constant notifications, endless information, and social comparisons can disturb your peace daily. Set boundaries around your digital life by limiting screen time, turning off non-essential notifications, and curating your online environment. Saying no to mindless scrolling or reactive posting preserves your mental clarity and emotional stability. The top 1% use technology intentionally instead of letting it control them. Another benefit of saying no is increased focus. When you protect your peace, you create mental space to concentrate deeply on your most important work. Distractions dissipate and your energy is conserved for meaningless tasks. This focus accelerates progress and reduces burnout. Saying no is a strategic tool to channel your efforts where they have the greatest impact. Saying no also strengthens your self-worth and confidence. When you honor your limits and values, you send a message to yourself and others that you matter. You stop sacrificing your well-being to please everyone else. This self-respect builds inner peace and resilience. People respond positively to clear boundaries because it creates healthier, more balanced relationships. It's important to recognize that saying no sometimes means disappointing others. That is unavoidable. However, protecting your peace is necessary to be your best self in the long run. When you overextend yourself, you become ineffective and resentful. Saying no is a form of self-care that benefits everyone around you. It allows you to show up fully when you do say yes. Developing the habit of saying no takes practice and self-awareness. Start by identifying situations where you tend to say yes out of obligation rather than desire. Reflect on the consequences of these yeses on your peace and productivity. Gradually practice saying no in low-stakes situations to build confidence. Over time, you will find it easier to protect your boundaries even in challenging contexts. Surrounding yourself with people who respect your boundaries makes saying no easier. Communicate your intentions clearly with your close circle and ask for their support. When your environment honors your peace, you feel empowered to maintain it. This mutual respect creates a culture of understanding and reduces pressure to overcommit. Protecting your peace by saying no more often is also about prioritizing your rest and recovery. Declining extra tasks or invitations allows you to recharge physically, mentally, and emotionally. Rest is essential for creativity, clarity, and performance. Without peace, progress stalls and burnout becomes inevitable. Saying no to protect rest is a smart investment in your long-term success. Finally, saying no fosters intentional living. It shifts you from reacting to demands to proactively designing your life. You create space for what truly inspires and fulfills you. This intentionality builds satisfaction and joy, which fuels further growth. The top 1% live by choice, not by chance. They say no so they can say yes to what counts. Protecting your peace by saying no more often is an act of courage and wisdom. It requires knowing yourself deeply, valuing your time, and respecting your limits. It empowers you to lead a focused, fulfilling life free from unnecessary stress and distractions. When you commit to this practice, you build a strong foundation for resilience, clarity, and success that lasts. Saying no is not a limitation, it is your greatest freedom. Chapter 16. Lead yourself before trying to lead others. ChatGPT said, "Leading yourself effectively is the foundation for any meaningful leadership of others. Before you can inspire, guide, or influence those around you, you must first understand, discipline, and direct your own actions, emotions, and decisions." The top 1% recognize that leadership is not about titles or authority, but about responsibility for oneself. Leading yourself requires commitment to self-awareness, integrity, and continuous growth. Without this inner leadership, attempts to lead others often fall flat or lack authenticity. The first step to leading yourself is developing deep self-awareness. Know your strengths, weaknesses, values, and motivations clearly. This knowledge allows you to make choices that align with your true purpose rather than external pressures or fleeting emotions. Self-awareness helps you recognize when you're off track or acting out of habit instead of intention. It also helps you understand your impact on others, preparing you to lead by example. When you lead yourself with honesty and clarity, you build trust in your own ability and character. Self-discipline is essential for self-leadership. It means controlling impulses, managing time effectively, and following through on commitments even when it's difficult. The top performers cultivate routines and habits that keep them focused and productive. They resist short-term distractions in favor of long-term gains. Self-discipline strengthens willpower and resilience, which are critical when facing challenges or setbacks. Leading yourself means you don't wait for motivation or external direction, but consistently act with purpose and determination. Taking full responsibility for your life is another hallmark of strong self-leadership. This means owning your successes and failures without blaming others or circumstances. When you lead yourself, you stop making excuses and start finding solutions. You view obstacles as opportunities to learn and grow. This mindset shifts your energy from victimhood to empowerment. The top 1% embrace accountability fully and hold themselves to high standards because they know leadership starts with ownership. Emotional intelligence is a powerful tool in leading yourself. You must manage your emotions effectively to maintain clarity and make sound decisions. This involves recognizing emotional triggers, practicing self-regulation, and cultivating positive mindset. Strong self-leaders don't let anger, fear, or doubt control their actions. Instead, they pause, reflect, and respond thoughtfully. Emotional mastery creates inner stability and confidence, which radiate outward and inspire others. Goal setting is a crucial aspect of leading yourself. Clear, actionable goals provide direction and motivation. The top 1% break big goals into manageable steps and track progress regularly. This structured approach prevents overwhelm and keeps momentum steady. Leading yourself means you plan intentionally and adjust as needed, without losing sight of your vision. Your goals become a compass that guides daily decisions and priorities. Self-leadership also involves continuous learning and growth. Committing to improve skills, mindset, and knowledge keeps you adaptable and relevant. The top performers seek feedback, reflect on experiences, and embrace challenges as chances to evolve. They invest time in personal development through reading, courses, coaching, and practice. Leading yourself means never settling for complacency, but striving to become the best version of yourself. Building strong habits supports effective self-leadership. Habits automate positive behaviors and reduce decision fatigue. By mastering consistency in habits, you create stability and predictability in your life. This structure enables you to face uncertainties and stress with calm and confidence. Leading yourself means designing your environment and routines to support your highest goals and values. Self-compassion is an important but often overlooked element of self-leadership. Being kind to yourself during mistakes or setbacks prevents burnout and discouragement. It encourages reflection and resilience rather than self-criticism or defeat. The top 1% balance high standards with grace, understanding that growth is a journey with ups and downs. Leading yourself requires nurturing your mental and emotional well-being as much as your productivity. Effective communication with yourself builds self-trust. How you talk to yourself shapes your mindset and motivation. Positive, encouraging self-talk empowers you to face challenges confidently. Negative or doubting thoughts undermine your leadership ability. Leading yourself means cultivating an internal dialogue that reinforces your strength and commitment. This inner voice becomes your most reliable coach and motivator. Prioritizing rest and recovery is a key part of self-leadership. Physical and mental energy fuels effective decision-making and action. Without adequate rest, your performance and resilience decline. The top 1% respect their need for balance and schedule time for sleep, breaks, and relaxation. Leading yourself means listening to your body and mind and responding with care, not pushing blindly into exhaustion. Integrity is the backbone of leading yourself. Align your actions consistently with your values and promises. When you act with integrity, you build confidence in your own character and inspire respect from others. The top performers demonstrate that true leadership is rooted in authenticity and trustworthiness. Leading yourself means doing what you say you will do, even when no one is watching. Self-leadership prepares you to inspire and guide others by example. People naturally follow those who demonstrate clarity, discipline, and authenticity. When you manage yourself well, your presence commands respect and influence. You become a source of stability and vision that others want to align with. Leading yourself first creates the credibility needed to lead teams, organizations, or communities effectively. Developing resilience is critical for sustained self-leadership. Life will inevitably bring challenges and setbacks. Your ability to bounce back and adapt determines your long-term success. The top 1% cultivate a mindset that views failure as feedback and adversity as growth opportunities. They maintain focus on their purpose, despite difficulty. Leading yourself means building mental toughness that sustains you through uncertainty. Decision-making skills are strengthened by leading yourself. When you understand your values, goals, and emotions, you can make faster and wiser choices. Self-leadership means trusting your judgment and learning from outcomes without paralysis by analysis. The top performers are decisive because they know their priorities and have confidence in their process. Leading yourself requires regular reflection and course correction. Take time to assess your progress, mindset, and habits. Honest reflection allows you to identify areas for improvement and celebrate wins. This ongoing adjustment ensures you stay aligned with your purpose and maintain momentum. Leading yourself means being proactive about growth rather than reactive to crises. Self-leadership fosters independence and empowerment. You rely on your own wisdom and resources to navigate life's complexity. This autonomy builds confidence and reduces dependence on external validation or approval. The top 1% thrive because they trust themselves first and lead with that confidence. In essence, leading yourself is the most important leadership you will ever do. It demands courage to face your weaknesses, discipline to act consistently, and humility to keep learning. The ability to lead others flows naturally from the foundation of self-leadership. When you commit to mastering yourself, you build a life of purpose, impact, and fulfillment. This is how the top 1% think and act every day. Chapter 17. Face hard truths and improve without excuses. Facing hard truths is one of the most challenging yet transformative actions you can take in life. The top 1% understand that growth requires honest self-examination without excuses or denial. When you confront reality clearly and courageously, you open the door to meaningful improvement. Avoiding or rationalizing difficult truths only prolongs stagnation and blocks progress. Embracing discomfort in the service of truth empowers you to change what needs changing and build resilience. Denial is a natural human defense mechanism to protect from pain or failure. Yet it also blinds you to important feedback and lessons. The moment you recognize an uncomfortable truth and resist excuses is the moment you start moving forward. The top performers make a habit of self-reflection and accountability. They seek input from trusted sources and accept critique without defensiveness. This openness creates a foundation for real growth that is not limited by ego or fear. Excuses often sound reasonable and even justifiable, but they rob you of control. When you blame circumstances, others, or lack of resources, you give away your power to improve. The top 1% reject excuses and take full ownership of their outcomes. They ask themselves what actions they can take instead of why something is impossible. This shift from external blame to internal responsibility transforms mindset and behavior. Facing hard truths means looking at weaknesses and failures honestly. It means acknowledging mistakes, missed opportunities, and gaps in knowledge or skills. This can feel uncomfortable or shameful, but it is necessary to identify areas for improvement. Without this clarity, efforts are unfocused or misguided. The top performers treat failures as data points to analyze and learn from, rather than reasons to quit or hide. Improvement without excuses requires commitment to action. Once you identify a hard truth, you must create a plan to address it. This includes setting clear goals, breaking down steps, and holding yourself accountable. It means taking consistent effort even when progress is slow or difficult. The top 1% understand that change is a process, not an event. They embrace persistence and patience to see results over time. Emotional resilience supports facing hard truths without excuses. It involves managing discomfort, frustration, or disappointment that may arise. Developing mental strength allows you to face challenges with curiosity rather than avoidance. This resilience also helps you maintain confidence despite setbacks. The top performers cultivate practices like mindfulness, journaling, or physical exercise to strengthen their emotional capacity. Seeking honest feedback is an important strategy to confront blind spots. Sometimes we cannot see our weaknesses clearly on our own. Trusted mentors, peers, or coaches provide valuable perspectives that highlight areas for growth. The top 1% actively pursue feedback and use it constructively. They do not take criticism personally, but as a tool for improvement. This openness accelerates learning and refinement. Self-awareness is the foundation for facing hard truths. Developing regular habits of reflection, such as journaling or meditation, increases your ability to observe your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors objectively. This awareness reduces denial and helps identify excuses quickly. Leading yourself with honesty creates a culture of transparency that spills over into all areas of life. Taking action on hard truths builds momentum and confidence. Each step forward, no matter how small, proves that change is possible. This momentum fuels further growth and reduces the temptation to make excuses. The top performers celebrate progress and use it as motivation to keep pushing. They focus on solutions and next steps rather than dwelling on problems. Accountability systems enhance your ability to improve without excuses. Sharing your goals and progress with trusted individuals creates external motivation. Knowing you will report your actions to someone increases follow-through. The top 1% use accountability partners, coaches, or support groups to stay on track. This network also provides encouragement and honest reality checks. Overcoming fear is essential to face hard truths. Fear of failure, judgment, or loss can prevent honest self-assessment. The top performers confront these fears directly by focusing on their larger purpose and vision. They remind themselves that growth requires risk and discomfort. This courage empowers them to move beyond excuses and take responsibility. Recognizing that improvement is a lifelong journey shifts your mindset away from perfectionism. You accept that mistakes and hard truths will arise regularly. Instead of resisting them, you embrace these moments as opportunities to learn and evolve. This mindset reduces shame and guilt, making it easier to face reality with openness. Learning from others who model facing hard truths can inspire and guide you. Reading biographies, listening to interviews, or engaging with mentors who share their struggles reveals that even the most successful people face challenges honestly. This perspective normalizes difficulty and demonstrates that improvement is possible with commitment. Cultivating curiosity toward your own behaviors fosters growth. Instead of judging yourself harshly, ask questions like, "What can I learn from this?" or "How can I do better next time?" This inquiry opens pathways to new insights and solutions. The top 1% approach their development as an ongoing exploration, rather than a fixed state. Practicing humility supports facing hard truths without excuses. Accept that you do not have all the answers and that growth requires vulnerability. Humility creates space for learning from mistakes and others' wisdom. It also deepens relationships by demonstrating authenticity and openness. Building a clear vision of who you want to become motivates you to confront hard truth. When your goals and values are vivid, you are more willing to face discomfort in service of that vision. The top performers connect daily with their purpose to fuel perseverance through tough self-assessments. Implementing structured reviews of your progress helps identify hard truths regularly. Schedule weekly or monthly reflections where you honestly assess what worked, what didn't, and what can improve. This discipline prevents issues from accumulating unnoticed and enables timely adjustments. Finally, develop compassion for yourself during this process. Facing hard truths can trigger self-criticism or doubt. Balance accountability with kindness. Recognize your efforts and growth while committing to further improvement. This compassion sustains motivation and reduces burnout. Facing hard truths without excuses is the gateway to extraordinary personal growth. It requires courage, honesty, resilience, and consistent action. The top 1% make this practice a daily habit that fuels continuous transformation. By embracing reality fully and rejecting rationalizations, you empower yourself to improve authentically and relentlessly. This mindset shift is essential to unlock your highest potential and live a life of integrity and impact. Chapter 18. Choose growth over comfort every single time. Choosing growth over comfort is a decisive factor that separates the top 1% from the rest of the world. Growth demands challenge, effort, and discomfort, while comfort tempts with ease and familiarity. Each time you choose growth, you expand your abilities, mindset, and potential. Choosing comfort repeatedly leads to stagnation and missed opportunities. The power lies in the consistent decision to embrace the difficult path, knowing it leads to a richer and more fulfilling life. Comfort feels safe and appealing because it requires little effort and avoids pain or uncertainty. Yet, it is a trap that dulls ambition and narrows your horizons. The top performers recognize that lasting success never comes from staying in your comfort zone. They welcome discomfort as a signal that they are stretching and evolving. Instead of avoiding challenges, they seek them out intentionally because growth lies just beyond the familiar. Choosing growth over comfort starts with mindset. You must view discomfort not as a threat, but as a necessary part of progress. This mindset shift allows you to reframe struggles as opportunities to learn rather than obstacles to avoid. When you anticipate growth to feel uncomfortable, you prepare yourself mentally and emotionally to push through resistance. This preparation builds resilience and determination that fuel continuous improvement. Taking small daily steps outside your comfort zone is a practical way to choose growth consistently. It could mean trying new skills, having difficult conversations, or challenging limiting beliefs. These small risks accumulate and create momentum toward larger breakthroughs. The top 1% rarely wait for massive transformations. Instead, they commit to incremental growth every day. This approach makes growth manageable and sustainable. Growth requires discipline and sacrifice. It demands you to give up temporary pleasures or distractions in favor of long-term goals. Choosing growth might mean waking early to work on a project, saying no to social invitations, or pushing through fatigue to keep learning. The willingness to sacrifice comfort for progress is a mark of serious commitment. Those who resist these sacrifices often remain stuck in mediocrity. Surrounding yourself with growth-minded people reinforces your choice. When you spend time with individuals who value challenge and self-improvement, it becomes easier to reject comfort. They inspire and hold you accountable to higher standards. The top 1% build environments that nurture growth through relationships, communities, and mentors. This positive influence motivates you to keep choosing growth. Facing fear is inevitable when you choose growth. Fear of failure, rejection, or uncertainty can tempt you back into comfort. The difference is how you respond to fear. Growth-minded people acknowledge fear but act anyway. They understand that courage is not absence of fear, but action despite it. This courage strengthens with practice and expands your capacity for success. Reflection is crucial for maintaining your growth choice. Regularly assess your progress and areas where comfort tempts you to retreat. Honest self-reflection reveals patterns and provides clarity on where you need to push harder. The top performers use reflection as a tool to stay aligned with their growth goals and recalibrate as needed. This awareness keeps you vigilant against complacency. Adopting a learner's attitude supports growth over comfort. Seeing yourself as a student of life opens you to new experiences and knowledge. It fosters curiosity rather than complacency. The top 1% maintain humility and openness that drive their growth. They ask questions, seek feedback, and welcome challenges as part of learning. Building emotional resilience helps sustain your growth choice. Growth often involves setbacks, criticism, and uncertainty. Developing mental strength enables you to recover quickly and maintain motivation. Practices like mindfulness, journaling, and physical activity contribute to emotional well-being. The more resilient you become, the less comfort will feel necessary as a refuge. Visualizing the benefits of growth motivates you to endure discomfort. Picture the skills you will gain, the confidence you will build, and the goals you will achieve by choosing growth. This positive vision fuels your determination on tough days. The top performers regularly connect with their future selves to stay inspired and focused. Taking responsibility for your growth is empowering. You own your decisions, efforts, and results fully. This ownership eliminates blame or excuses and puts you in control of your development. The top 1% hold themselves accountable and seek ways to improve constantly. This proactive stance makes growth a deliberate choice rather than a random occurrence. Consistency is key to choosing growth every time. Growth is not a one-time event, but a lifelong process. Commit to making growth your default choice in all areas of life: work, relationships, health, and mindset. This consistency builds habits that support your evolution and make growth second nature. Choosing growth also means being willing to fail and learn from mistakes. Failure is often seen as painful, but it is an essential teacher. When you choose growth, you accept failure as feedback and use it to adjust your approach. This acceptance removes fear and encourages experimentation and innovation. Limiting beliefs are obstacles to growth. They keep you confined within comfort zones by convincing you change is impossible or too risky. The top performers challenge these beliefs regularly by questioning their validity and replacing them with empowering truths. This mental work expands your willingness to choose growth over comfort. Setting clear goals aligned with your values clarifies why growth matters. When your goals connect deeply with your purpose, you are more motivated to endure discomfort. This connection provides meaning and drives your persistence through challenges. The top 1% use goal clarity to anchor their growth decisions. Celebrating progress reinforces your choice of growth. Recognize and reward yourself for stepping outside comfort and making progress. These celebrations build positive associations with growth and encourage continued effort. The top performers balance discipline with celebration to sustain motivation and joy. Managing your environment supports choosing growth. Remove temptations that promote comfort, such as distractions or negative influences. Create spaces and routines that challenge and inspire you. The top 1% design their environments to make growth easier and comfort less appealing. Practicing gratitude enhances your growth mindset. Appreciating your progress and opportunities shifts your focus from what is comfortable to what is possible. Gratitude nurtures optimism and resilience needed for sustained growth. It helps you stay present and motivated despite challenges. Choosing growth over comfort is a courageous and transformative commitment. It requires self-awareness, discipline, resilience, and a clear vision. The top 1% make this choice daily, building lives marked by achievement, fulfillment, and continuous evolution. By prioritizing growth, you unlock your true potential and create a life that matters. Chapter 19. Reflect daily to correct, redirect, and improve fast. Taking time each day to reflect is one of the most effective ways to accelerate personal growth and improvement. The top 1% understand that daily reflection is not just a habit, but a powerful tool to correct mistakes, redirect efforts, and improve rapidly. When you pause to examine your actions, decisions, and results, you gain clarity on what works and what needs adjustment. This clarity prevents repeating errors and keeps you moving toward your goals efficiently. Daily reflection encourages mindfulness. Instead of rushing through the day on autopilot, you consciously review your experiences and behaviors. This awareness helps you identify patterns that either support or hinder your progress. By recognizing these patterns early, you can make informed choices to reinforce positive habits and eliminate unproductive ones. The top performers cultivate this practice consistently because it keeps their growth intentional and focused. Reflection helps you understand your emotions and reactions. Emotions often drive behavior, and unconscious emotional responses can sabotage progress. Taking time to reflect allows you to analyze how you felt during different situations and why. This insight enables you to develop better emotional regulation and decision-making. When you become aware of triggers and responses, you gain control over your actions rather than being controlled by them. When you reflect daily, you create a feedback loop that enhances learning. Instead of waiting for external feedback, you become your own coach and critic. This immediate self-assessment accelerates skill development and problem solving. The top 1% use reflection as a proactive strategy to stay ahead and continuously refine their approach. This habit turns every day into a growth opportunity. Reflection fosters accountability. By reviewing your commitments and actions each day, you hold yourself responsible for follow-through. This accountability increases motivation and discipline. You recognize when you stray from your plans or values and can take corrective measures quickly. The top performers avoid excuses by embracing this honest self-evaluation. Redirecting efforts is a key benefit of daily reflection. Sometimes we persist with ineffective strategies simply because we fail to notice the need for change. Reflection illuminates these blind spots and encourages flexibility. When you identify what isn't working, you can adjust your tactics without losing momentum. The ability to pivot efficiently is a hallmark of high achievers. Daily reflection supports clarity of purpose. Revisiting your goals and values regularly ensures your actions align with your vision. This alignment prevents wasted energy on distractions or conflicting priorities. The top 1% maintain this clarity by making reflection a daily ritual. They keep their focus sharp and their motivation strong through consistent self-review. Journaling is a practical method to enhance reflection. Writing down your thoughts, experiences, and lessons makes abstract ideas concrete. It also creates a record to track your growth over time. The act of putting thoughts on paper clarifies thinking and deepens insight. Many successful people attribute journaling as a cornerstone of their self-improvement practice. Reflection sharpens problem-solving skills. When you analyze challenges you face during the day, you uncover root causes and potential solutions. This thoughtful approach prevents reactive or superficial fixes. Instead, you develop strategic responses that produce lasting results. The top 1% treat obstacles as learning experiences and use reflection to extract maximum value from them. Cultivating gratitude within your reflection enhances emotional well-being. Recognizing positive moments and progress balances the critical eye. Reflection can sometimes bring gratitude, fosters optimism and resilience, which are essential for sustained growth. The most successful people blend honest evaluation with appreciation for their journey. Reflection encourages humility. By acknowledging mistakes and areas for improvement, you stay grounded and open to learning. Humility creates a growth mindset that values effort and progress over perfection. The top performers demonstrate this mindset by regularly assessing themselves honestly and striving to improve. Incorporating questions into your reflection process deepens insight. Asking yourself questions like, what did I do well today? What could I have done differently? Or what did I learn? Guides focused thinking. These questions help you move beyond surface observations to meaningful understanding. Structured reflection leads to more actionable insights. Reflection also improves emotional intelligence. By observing your feelings and responses, you build empathy and self-control. This emotional growth enhances your relationships and leadership ability. The top 1% recognize that managing emotions is crucial for long-term success and use reflection to cultivate this skill. Setting intentions during reflection prepares you for the next day. After reviewing past actions, you clarify what you want to accomplish and how you want to show up. This forward-looking aspect turns reflection into a planning tool. It boosts focus and confidence going into future challenges. Reflection prevents burnout by allowing you to identify stresses and adjust accordingly. When you notice signs of overwhelm or fatigue, you can implement rest or self-care strategies. The top performers balance hard work with recovery by listening to themselves daily. This balance sustains high performance over time. Sharing reflections with a mentor or accountability partner magnifies the benefits. External perspectives provide additional insight and encouragement. Discussing your reflections creates dialogue that deepens understanding and commitment. The top 1% seek these relationships to enhance their self-awareness and growth. Reflection strengthens self-trust. When you regularly evaluate yourself honestly and act on insights, you build confidence in your judgment and abilities. This trust empowers decisive action and resilience in the face of uncertainty. Leading yourself effectively depends on this foundation. The habit of daily reflection builds discipline. Carving out time each day to think deeply requires commitment and prioritization. Over time, this discipline enhances overall focus and intentionality in all areas of life. The top performers consider reflection non-negotiable for maintaining their edge. Reflection encourages simplicity and clarity. By distilling lessons and priorities daily, you avoid overwhelm and complexity. This clarity enables you to take purposeful action without distraction. The top 1% excel because they consistently streamline their efforts toward what truly matters. Finally, reflection connects you to your authentic self. By regularly checking in with your values, goals, and emotions, you live with integrity and alignment. This authenticity creates fulfillment and sustained motivation. The top performers lead lives rooted in deep self-knowledge and consistent self-improvement. Daily reflection is a powerful practice that corrects course, redirects efforts, and accelerates improvement. It cultivates awareness, accountability, resilience, and clarity. The top 1% make reflection a daily habit that fuels their extraordinary growth. By committing to this practice, you unlock faster progress and a more intentional life. Reflection is not a luxury, but a necessity for anyone serious about reaching their highest potential. Chapter 20. Stay committed when the results are still invisible. Staying committed when results are invisible challenges even the strongest minds because human nature craves immediate reward and clear progress. Yet the top 1% know that most meaningful achievements start with invisible work. True success requires steadfast dedication through the quiet phases when effort seems unrewarded. This unwavering commitment builds the foundation for breakthroughs that will eventually become undeniable. The ability to persist without visible proof separates those who achieve greatness from those who give up early. When you begin any important journey, initial progress often goes unnoticed because the work is internal or gradual. Skills need time to develop. Habits require repetition, and growth unfolds slowly. This lag between effort and visible outcome tests your patience and faith. The top performers prepare themselves mentally for these waiting periods by embracing the long-term view. They understand that every minute invested is a step closer to their vision, even if the path is not yet clear. Doubt and frustration commonly arise when results do not appear quickly. These emotions can erode motivation and cause you to question your direction or ability. Managing these feelings effectively is crucial. Instead of giving in to discouragement, remind yourself of the purpose behind your commitment. Connecting daily actions to your deeper why fuels perseverance. The top 1% nurture this connection continuously to sustain momentum. Trust in the process is another essential element of staying committed. You may not see the impact of your work immediately, but consistent effort compounds over time. Like seeds growing underground before sprouting, progress is happening beneath the surface. Believing in this natural law of growth keeps you grounded during uncertain times. The top performers view commitment as a discipline rather than a feeling, maintaining effort regardless of visible results. Building routines and habits helps anchor commitment during invisible phases. When your actions become automatic through repetition, you rely less on fluctuating motivation. Discipline replaces reliance on fleeting emotions. The top 1% structure their days so that working toward goals is embedded in their lifestyle. This consistency ensures that even when excitement wanes, progress continues quietly but steadily. Setting small milestones provides tangible markers that affirm forward movement. These mini-goals break the overwhelming big picture into achievable steps. Celebrating these small wins sustains morale and reminds you that progress is occurring. The top performers use milestones strategically to create a sense of accomplishment throughout their journey. This approach reduces impatience and keeps commitment strong. Maintaining flexibility while staying committed is vital. Sometimes the path toward your goal requires adjustment as you learn and grow. Commitment does not mean rigidly sticking to one method if it proves ineffective. Instead, it means staying devoted to the outcome while being open to changing tactics. This balance of steadfastness and adaptability characterizes the mindset of the top 1%. Friends, mentors, or communities who understand your vision provide encouragement and perspective during invisible phases. They remind you of your progress when self-doubt creeps in. The top performers cultivate environments that nurture persistence and resilience through positive relationships. Visualization techniques help sustain commitment by making your future success feel real and motivating. Regularly imagining the results of your efforts engages your emotions and strengthens resolve. This mental rehearsal prepares you to overcome obstacles and delays. The top 1% practice visualization consistently to fuel endurance through slow progress. Developing emotional resilience equips you to endure uncertainty and setbacks inherent in invisible growth periods. Resilience allows you to recover quickly from discouragement and maintain focus. Practices like meditation, journaling, and physical exercise contribute to emotional strength. The more resilient you become, the easier it is to stay committed without immediate reward. Focusing on controllable factors rather than outcomes enhances commitment. Results often depend on variables beyond your influence. By concentrating on your actions, effort, and attitude, you maintain a sense of control and purpose. The top 1% emphasize process over outcome, which sustains motivation even when progress is not visible externally. Learning to detach from instant gratification is necessary to stay committed long-term. The culture of immediacy trains us to expect quick results. Overcoming this mindset requires discipline and a reorientation toward delayed rewards. The top performers cultivate patience and focus on long-term fulfillment rather than momentary pleasure. Reminding yourself of past successes built through invisible effort reinforces belief in the process. Reflecting on previous times when persistence paid off strengthens confidence in current challenges. This perspective shift reduces frustration and fosters optimism. The top 1% use their history of overcoming obstacles to fuel continued commitment. Maintaining a growth mindset supports commitment during invisible phases. Viewing effort and setbacks as learning opportunities rather than failures encourages persistence. This mindset frames challenges as necessary for mastery and progress. The top performers cultivate this outlook to sustain motivation and reduce fear of delays. Regularly revisiting your purpose clarifies why commitment matters. When results are invisible, your deeper reasons become the anchor for perseverance. Connecting daily effort to your values and goals fuels passion and determination. The top 1% continuously realign with their purpose to maintain focus during difficult stretches. Avoiding comparison with others who appear successful instantly protects your commitment. Social media and external appearances can distort reality and breed impatience. Focusing on your unique journey and progress preserves your motivation. The top performers concentrate on their path rather than others' timeline. Practicing self-compassion prevents burnout and discouragement when progress stalls. Acknowledge that growth takes time and that setbacks are part of the process. Treat yourself with kindness while maintaining high standards. This balance supports sustainable commitment and well-being. Incorporating rest and recovery sustains energy and focus over long periods. Overworking can deplete motivation and lead to abandonment of goals. The top 1% recognize the importance of balance to maintain commitment through invisible phases. Scheduling breaks and self-care enhances overall performance and perseverance. Tracking progress through journals, apps, or logs provides evidence of growth over time. This documentation makes invisible results more tangible and motivating. Seeing accumulated effort in black and white reinforces belief in eventual success. The top performers use tracking tools to maintain perspective and momentum. Taking responsibility for your commitment empowers you to overcome obstacles and distractions. When you own your progress fully, you avoid excuses or blaming external factors. This ownership strengthens resolve and keeps you accountable to your goals. Ultimately, staying committed when results are still invisible is a test of character and vision. It demands patience, faith, discipline, and resilience. The top 1% see this period not as wasted time, but as the essential groundwork for lasting achievement. By holding steady through uncertainty, you build strength and momentum that lead to extraordinary outcomes. This steadfast commitment transforms dreams into reality and is the hallmark of those who rise to the highest levels of success.